a hard-fought final game of the road trip for the Golden State Warriors. I'd say the Brooklyn Nets are the definition, the epitome of tryhards. And they wanted to win this game. They put up a fight. The good news is all those little extra fouls at the end that prevented this from being a finale from even though the Warriors, Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, they're given their nights. It wasn't actually over until like literally with seconds remaining because again, the Nets are tryhards. They play physical. They don't want to lose. For a team that's supposed to tank, they don't look the part. And I think it starts with their head coach, Jordi Hernandez. I'm sorry. Whatever the last name is, he's a great coach. That team does not quit on him. They missed the memo, which is you're supposed to tank. You're playing for Cooper Flag this year. But regardless, the Golden State Warriors finished the road trip 4-1. Stephen Curry, because of the try-hard effort by Brooklyn, hits the 40-point mark for the second time this season. And the Warriors continue to cook, my friends. There's a lot to break down. So let's do it. It's Thursday night. Tomorrow's Friday. Oh, this was a week. And the Warriors, do they have the good vibes flowing or what, baby? Let's break it all down next. This was a pivotal win for the Warriors. I'm sure the standings will be interesting. We're going to cover that and so much more. But folks, the Warriors are back. They're real. They're legitimate. They're golden.
They always find something to nitpick, and that's because there's expectations for us to win. It was a pretty crazy night.
Let's go.
In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up. Come on and break me off. 'Cause I get what I want and I like what I see. If you got
Welcome to the Golden Days. I am your host for this evening, a Thursday evening, which means tomorrow's Friday. That deserves a huge hey now for this program and everyone involved. Welcome to the program. How you doing? My name's Cyrus Saatsaz. I'm your host for the evening. You can follow me on Threads and Instagram at Dogwild over on Twitter. My handle is Surf Journalist. The program's on both those platforms at Golden Days Pod. We're going to talk about a hard-fought win for the Golden State Warriors, a final score of just 121-119. Before we get into it, though, got to give some love to the folks paying our bills, supporting this operation, making sure we exist. And first and foremost, visit Humboldt. Folks, our data shows over half the audiences in the San Francisco Bay Area. Even if you're not, California, much to the chagrin of everyone living here, is a massive tourist destination. So if you're heading over to the Golden State, it's why the Warriors are called that. It's because California's nickname is literally the Golden State. Check out the real Northern California. San Francisco, the Bay Area, SAC, that's all Central California, geographically speaking. The real Northern California is visit Humboldt. It is a beautiful paradise of redwood, sequoias, hiking adventures. This is the Visit Humboldt website, by the way. For those watching on YouTube, go check out the adventure. Go eat at the Samoa Cookhouse, where it's all you can eat. Incredible food, great breweries, outdoor adventures, whatever it is that is your cup of tea. I'm going to guess Humboldt has it for you. It's a short 3 to 4 hour drive from the San Francisco Bay Area, a beautiful drive at that. Go check it out. DM me if you want tips, or go to visithumboldt.com if you want hotel recommendations, advice on things to do, or just DM me. I'll take care of you. And go to the website again, visithumboldt.com. Enjoy your trip. Thank me later. Today's episode also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. They're not ready to quit on me and the network. They actually asked, hey, can you continue repping us for at least another week or so? Of course I'm going to do that. I'm a businessman. Money talks in this industry. And so I thank you to Underdog for continuing the sponsorship for at least another week. The world's the funnest daily fantasy game That's legal in California. The entire premise is you're selecting a minimum of 2 players, maximum of 8 players, and determining whether or not they're going to hit higher than or lower than marks. Stephen Curry, for example, his higher or lower than total tonight, 25.5. Don't quote me on that. I'm guessing there. But the fact that he scored 40 means if you bet the higher, that is one of your picks getting the green light, winning. And all you got to do is get 2 right. You can bet up to 8 different selections where you can win up to 1,000 times what you put in. It's fun. If you use the promo code GSW, you can get a free pick and up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Underdog Fantasy. Have fun. Go play. And last but not least, again, legal in California, by the way, which is a very important piece of information. Last but not least, BetOnline, the world's most trusted betting platform. The Warriors favored by 11 tonight. They did not cover. Brooklyn hitting that 2 at the very end of the game, making it a 121-119 final. I'm curious if that affected anyone in the betting community. Regardless, if you are a gambler, go check out BetOnline, the official sportsbook for Golden Days and the Believe Podcast Network. Our friend Larry Krueger is killing it. I know the Warriors didn't cover the spread tonight, but since Jimmy Butler came to the team, they're rolling, they're making money. Go have fun. Thank me later. BetOnline, the game starts here. And speaking of the game, the Golden State Warriors coming away victorious tonight, 121-119, in a game where Stephen Curry dropped 40 points despite being a minus 16 in net rating. That is not a stat you see every day. And a huge part of that was the start of this game. For starters, Brandon Podziemski, I think 44 seconds in, and I actually have it down in my notes for the exact time marker for when Pods suffered a lower back soreness. We don't know exactly what the injury was that affected Brandon Podziemski, but 44 seconds into this game, he's grabbing his lower back on a non-contact play, and he's out. Did not even ask for a substitution. He's like, I'm out. He just went straight to the locker room. That was an old man injury. I'm going to re-evoke a soundbite I haven't played in a long time, but when you're 22 years old and you're leaving games because of back injuries, yeah, I'm going to evoke is out.
Oh, my neck, my back, my neck and my back. Oh.
Yeah, I didn't experience throwing out my lower back until I reached my 40s. And look, I don't know if surfing helped with that. I try to stretch. I'm not the greatest athlete, but I've been involved in athletics most of my life. I did not suffer lower back injuries like some people do until I hit my 40s. I've thrown my back out twice in my life. And both times was because I was lifting a lot of heavy things. The second time I was lifting my dog into my bed each night, and I started to feel something the last couple of days. I eventually got stairs for the bed for him to walk up. Point is, when you throw your back out, I don't know if you in the audience, if any of you have experienced this yourself, it's one of the most painful things you could endure. You're crippled. You are literally handicapped for the 24, 48, 72 hours that whatever is causing the issue with the lower back. We don't know what happened here with Podziemski. I don't know if it's a pinched nerve. I don't know if it's a muscle situation, but if you've ever thrown your lower back out, you understand how crippling of an injury that is. You can't move. You're literally screwed and just immobile. You find positions on couches or beds where it's the most minimal amount of pain that's being distributed throughout your body, but there's no comfort. It's hell. It's a nightmare. Now, Brandon Podziemski experiencing this at 22, I don't, I'm not. That's not something to be stoked about. All we could hope for in his case is that this was random. This was a one-off, and hopefully he's getting treatment. But for someone who last year led the NBA in charges, for someone who's very physical, a player who at 6'4", 6'5", is routinely battling larger dudes to get buckets, he's going to have to start taking care of his body a little better, because that's the downside with being in a small ball system. You're banging it with very physical, very athletic, large human beings, and your body oftentimes cannot handle that. Draymond Green, his back started giving him issues for the first time in his career 2-3 years ago, where at one point he missed, I think, like 2 months. And he realized he had to start really working out his abdomen and his core. And Pilates is usually the best regimen to strengthen the core. And the stronger your core, the stronger your back, because your abdominal muscles are the ones basically reinforcing your back. And so who knows? Maybe it was a fluke thing. I don't know. But lower back injuries, you don't want 22-year-olds experiencing that. So anyways, Brandon Podziemski leaves the game with 44 seconds in. And we don't see Guy Santos until 4 minutes and change left in the second quarter. The Warriors had an awful start, is what I'm trying to say. Brooklyn was physical. Brooklyn came in with a size advantage. And at the end of the first quarter, the Warriors were down 35-15. They were getting their asses kicked. Great news is, second quarter, Quentin Post is in the lineup right off the bat. Guy Santos comes in a little later. And I mentioned those two names because they were vital. Stephen Curry scored 40 points. Stephen Curry had another one of his heroic, insane, out-of-this-world shots, this time to end the half at the buzzer. He did like I don't even know how to describe it, really. Like, he just spun around almost like a pirouette, and then just flung it up. It reminded me of one of the shots that sealed the gold medal for Team USA in the Olympics. So Stephen Curry does this ridiculous near half-court shot to finish the half. It goes in. It was a momentum killer for Brooklyn. It was a morale booster for the Warriors. But even though Steph got his points, there's a very good reason why he finished this game with a team worst -16, because he was surrounded in a lot of minutes tonight, especially the first quarter. I think that's where the -16 lingered with Steph for so long. He was surrounded with players who were not doing a damn thing. Buddy Hield was atrocious tonight. And Buddy Hield still played 22 minutes, 53 seconds. He was 0 of 8 from the field. He was 0 of 5 from 3. He had 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, a -11 in net rating, and had 0 points. And if you're asking yourself, why did Buddy Hield even play 22 minutes, 53 seconds? Great question. Now, again, a huge difference between what I saw with Steve Kerr pre-Jimmy Butler, post-Jimmy Butler, is that he is making adjustments. Guy Santos, again, should not have come in as late as he did. He came into this game, I don't know if I have it written down here, but I thought I did. With 4:38 remaining in quarter two, Guy Santos finally came into the game. Immediately made his presence felt defensively, offensively, insane passes, great defense, tough rebounds. I don't know. What I don't understand is why Steve Kerr waits until 4:38 remaining in quarter two before bringing Guy Santos in the game. I don't know if they had a pregame strategy and it just clearly fell apart. I don't know if he was relying on his gut again, but where the difference I'm seeing with Kerr is we're seeing adjustments made that were not as fast and were not as sensical earlier in the season as they have been with Jimmy Butler on board. And maybe that's a coincidence. I don't know. But what I do know is even though Guy Santos did not come into the game until 4 minutes and change left in the second quarter, he did start the second half for the Golden State Warriors. Quentin Post started the second quarter for the Golden State Warriors. He was pivotal in this game. The stat line for those two players, I want to read those to you real fast, because at least with Guy Santos, again, not a box scorer that will blow you away. His contributions are not reflected with measurables necessarily, but he was huge out there. Ended up playing 24 minutes, 2 seconds, was 2 of 4 from the field. He only had 6 points in this game, only had 3 rebounds in this game, although I guarantee those 3 rebounds were pivotal. His 3 assists were clutch. It wouldn't surprise me if someone did research and found all 3 of those assists led to Stephen Curry 3-pointers. That would not surprise me. I know at least one of those did. So Guy Santos was spectacular. So was Quentin Post. Quentin Post played 21 minutes and 9 seconds. 2 of 4 from deep. I love the fact that you can hear his three-point shots going in. That he shoots them with force, yet they don't hit the rim. And the net just adds that extra oomph to it when he's nailing his threes. I love it. It's music to my ears. If you understand what I'm saying, more power to you. I love it. And I mean that in a good way. So Quentin Post, again, 4 of 8 shooting from the field, 50%, 2 of 4 shooting from 3, 50%. Added 7 rebounds in this game. Scored in double figures with 10 points. Guy Santos was a plus 12 in net rating. Quentin Post was a plus 13 in net rating. They were second and third on the team total in net rating because that is what their contributions resulted in on the court tonight. Positivity, winning basketball. The player who led the team in net rating, however, was Jimmy Butler, who finished the game with a plus 17 in net rating, and his stat line was spectacular. In fact, even though Stephen Curry scored 40 points tonight, even though he had that spin around shot at half court to hit to make before the buzzer sounded at the half, Jimmy Butler III, excuse me, is our Underdog Fantasy player of the game simply because what he's doing on this team, whether Steph is on the court or not, is profoundly positive. The impact is felt. He gets to the line consistently. He finds the right player consistently. 25 points for Jimmy Butler. A perfect 10 of 10 from the free throw line for Jimmy Butler. Added 6 assists in this game, 2 rebounds, had 3 steals. He was cutting off passing lanes. The dude was on fire. 25 points again for Jimmy tonight. 7 of 13 shooting from the field. Hit his 3rd career three-pointer as a member of the Golden State Warriors. Only had 1 3-point attempt. It went in. It was smooth. It was beautiful. And Jimmy Butler, I'm going to show you some stats and graphics in a second to compound and add to what I'm talking about in terms of how profoundly huge of an impact Jimmy Butler is implementing on this Warriors team. That trade, Madone, brothers and sisters, this was insane in terms of how much it flipped the script for one team. So Jimmy Butler, man, what a game for him tonight. Stephen Curry, what a game for him tonight. Guy Santos and Quentin Post, I gave them their due. Want to give GP2 some due as well. And it's not just for the numbers. He put up 16 points tonight. He had 9 rebounds and an assist. He shot 7 of 12 from the field, did not make his 2 3-point attempts, but thankfully that did not cost the team. But what GP2 did early in this game, I thought was essential because as I mentioned a few minutes ago, Brooklyn came into this game playing physical. They were dominating this game early. It didn't help that the officials were doing a lousy job early in this game. And again, the Warriors trailed 25-5 to start this game. Brooklyn did what every team seems to do against the Warriors early on. Philadelphia managed to do it for the entirety of a game, 4 quarters. Most teams start out insanely hot against the Warriors, and then we see a regression to the mean by the 4th quarter. But the Brooklyn Nets started this game leading 25-5. Brooklyn made 5 of their 6 3-pointers. And on top of just, taking advantage of a Warriors team that started slow, the officials did not call a single foul on Brooklyn in the opening quarter. You saw Stephen Curry pissed at one point. He was issued a technical foul. That doesn't normally happen with Stephen Curry. And the reason for that was Keon Johnson was playing annoyingly illegal defense on him, grabbing him, pushing him, and no whistle was being blown. And then Stephen Curry makes the most random incidental contact on Keon and gets called for a foul. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Stephen Curry actually shoved Keon Johnson. Keon flopped because a lot of the Brooklyn Nets are flopping bitches. Pardon my French, but I've officially am now listing the head whip, the attempt to flop as my most distasteful play in basketball. It is what I like the least in the NBA, are players doing this stupid ass head whips to try and get fouls, and it's working. And it worked in that instance because Stephen Curry did shove Keon a little bit just to get some space. He was pissed off. He was frustrated. Keon Johnson, however, should not have fallen the way he did. That was one of many flops in this game. Zaire Williams, another player who was flopping his ass off out there, trying to get gimmicky points from referees. And Steph had enough. He had his fill, man. And you saw him get frustrated. He got called for a technical foul. And then a few plays later, a few possessions later, you saw GP2 kind of have enough. And you saw him and Zaire Williams get into it, and they broke the thing up way before there was going to be a fight. I bring that up because GP2 set a tone that the Warriors needed. And from that point on, you saw the physicality increase. You saw the Warriors saying, enough of this. If you're going to shove us, we're going to shove back. And then in I believe the third quarter, there was a moment of enlightenment. And I really hope Steve Kerr saw what I saw and what a lot of other people saw and realizes not only that size matters in basketball, but that the Warriors have the personnel on this team to play with anyone. There was a lineup. I believe this was late third quarter, maybe early fourth quarter. I didn't write down the timestamp for this, but the Warriors had a non-Stephen Curry lineup out there where Jimmy Butler was the point guard. Guy Santos was essentially your shooting guard. Or Moses Moody could be your shooting guard. Fine. Jimmy Butler's your point guard. Moses Moody's your shooting guard. Guy Santos is your small forward. Draymond Green is your power forward. And Quentin Post was your center. The Warriors never looked back in this game when they brought that lineup out. All of a sudden, Brooklyn couldn't score. All of a sudden, Golden State was getting the easiest buckets imaginable. And just like that, the Golden State Warriors showed the world that small ball is not the only style they can play. That was a big-ass lineup. Again, Jimmy Butler at 6'7", Guy Santos at 6'6", Moses Moody at 6'5", Draymond at 6'6", with a 7'2" wingspan. He plays like a big, obviously. Quentin Post at 7 feet. Give me that lineup all day, every day for the non-Stephen Curry minutes, and this league is effed. They're toast. The Warriors are winning a 5th championship. I just really hope, I'm praying to the basketball gods that Steve Kerr took a lesson from that moment, because what the Warriors exhibited with that lineup is 5 players who can match up with anybody. That lineup did not have Buddy Hield in it. Side note, if Buddy Hield never played a minute again for the Golden State Warriors, I'd be happy. I don't think anyone would notice. You'd probably go 10 games. Legitimately, the Warriors have an upcoming 7-game homestand. If the Warriors went through that entire homestand without Buddy Hield playing a single minute, there is a very strong possibility no one would notice until somebody randomly might be like, hey, when's the last time Buddy Hield played? He would not be missed. He sucks, dude. I'm sorry. I know he has his games. He has his moments. Buddy Hield sucks. It's a shame, side note, that Buddy Hield, and we've covered this recently on the show, and this is why I hope you come here, is for this analysis, that Buddy Hield, when he makes buckets early and he sees the ball go into the rim, it lights something in him. It gives him the confidence he needs to make threes. He didn't do that tonight. The team didn't set him up to do that tonight. He just kept forcing threes. And again, Buddy Hield, a whopping 0 across the board, except for 1 assist, 1 rebound, and 2 turnovers, very close to a Tony Snell night. That's not something to ever take pride in. Buddy Hield, I hope, is kicking himself for that. But again, 0 for 5 from 3, 0 for 8 overall from the field, increased the short range offense for him. They did not try to get him going with easy buckets. That is the elixir for Buddy Hield to flip his game around. And the Warriors, look, they had their hands full. But they also shouldn't be treating him like a baby either. I mean, he should not have his hand held to get his shooting going. But with that said, we've seen it in the past, in recent games especially, in terms of what flips the switch for Buddy Hield. That did not happen tonight. He wasn't going for easy buckets. Most of his field goal attempts were long range. And I don't want to see him anymore. Brandon Podziemski, look, he's going to keep playing, obviously. I'm not going to slander him. But my point is that 5-man lineup, and look, if you need to sub Brandon Podziemski in there for, say, like Moses Moody, I don't think you'd see much of a drop-off, if any. That 5-man lineup was spectacular. It was phenomenal. And in case you missed the 5 players who were on the court that I'm just elated about, the lineup one more time was Jimmy Butler, Moses Moody, Guy Santos, Draymond Green, Quentin Post. They were kicking ass out there. And moving forward, when the Warriors play a bigger team who's playing physical with them, like Brooklyn was tonight, that is the lineup you need to put out there for the non-Steph minutes. They manned up. They played physical right back. Brooklyn suddenly couldn't score. What a huge surprise. Size matters in basketball. And I want to see that lineup a lot more. But kudos to Steve Kerr in terms of starting the second half with Guy Santos. Again, he didn't come into the game until 4 minutes and change in the second quarter, but he stayed in the game. And we're seeing these adjustments that we were not seeing before. And the Golden State Warriors coming away victorious. I know I missed a lot. We're obviously going to get the audience involved tonight just because this was a profoundly huge victory for the Warriors. We're going to cover the standings. Obviously, there is a lot to break down. But yeah, the first quarter, a disaster for the Warriors. I want to read the stats real fast in terms of just how bad things were in that opening quarter, where the Warriors scored just 15 points. Steph was the only one doing anything. Brandon Podziemski, he got hurt, so 44 seconds in, so he was out. Jimmy Butler didn't do anything in 10 minutes and 1 second. He didn't get going initially. He had 0 points. Draymond Green was a minus 20 in net rating in that opening quarter because he was out there for the entirety of that disaster. Buddy Hield, half of his missed shots were in that opening quarter. Buddy Hield played 11 minutes, 13 seconds in the opening quarter. Justify that. Steve Kerr has to the faith and trust he has in Buddy. I really do wish that leash shortened by 3 quarters because it's absurd. I didn't think Kevon Looney had much of a good game tonight either. Again, this is where Quentin Post really stepped up. Kevon Looney played 5 minutes, 25 seconds in that opening quarter. He has his nights, but then he also has games like these where he's borderline irrelevant, where he's not making close range shots. He's getting, as crazy as this may sound, out rebounded by other players. No, Kevon Looney did not have a good night either. That opening quarter was absurd. The Warriors were just 1 of 7 shooting from deep, 14.3%, 7 of 22 shooting from the field, just 15 points. And then thankfully in quarter 2, Jimmy Butler scored 11 points in that second quarter. Moses Moody started to get going. Excuse me again. Moses Moody had a great night as well. He deserves his flowers. A superb performance for him. And so the second quarter, the Warriors flipped it. They outscored Brooklyn 40-25. Quentin Post in the second quarter played 7 minutes, 22 seconds, was a perfect 2 of 2 from beyond the arc. I love Quentin Post. Side note, love him. I love Guy Santos. The fact that these two players are as young as they are, you've heard me just exude exaltation when it comes to the future of the Golden State Warriors. Those two are partly the reason for it. Quentin Post, he's a rookie. That's crazy. Guy Santos. How old is Guy Santos? I want to look that up real fast because I actually don't know what his actual age is. I'm going to guess it's 23, but whatever it is, he's young. And the future is damn bright for the Golden State Warriors. And they won again. The Warriors are now, in terms of record, 35-28, 7 games above 500. Guy Santos, by the way, 22 years old. He is a baby, and he's a Golden State Warrior. That is awesome. His birthday is June 22nd. So he doesn't have 23 until basically next season or during the Warriors championship celebration on Market Street. Anyways, let me post the link in the chat, see if anybody wants to join the party tonight. It's Thursday. Gotta love that. The Warriors finish a road trip, a 5-game road trip, 4-1. You gotta love that. Stephen Curry scores 40 or more points for the second time this season. You gotta love that. Jimmy Butler plays 35 minutes, 7 seconds, puts up 25 points, a perfect 10 of 10 from the free throw line. You gotta love that. The Warriors got 16 from GP2, 10 from Moses Moody, who was 2 of 5 from beyond the arc. Both those threes were clutch and pivotal, added 5 rebounds. You gotta love that. And then Draymond Green was Draymond Green. I take a lot of pleasure, as weird as this may sound, in a Warriors game where there's a timeout, where there's a stoppage in play because of free throws or whatever it is. and you could just hear Draymond's voice in the entire arena. He's so loud. He commands the floor. I know a lot of people in Dub Nation hate him now, or they've grown a distaste for him over the years. Not me. He's far from perfect. We had a great show this morning, side note. Danny Emmerman was on the program, Golden State Warriors beat reporter for the Bay Area News Group, which includes the Mercury News. And he traveled with Draymond to Saginaw, Michigan, and wrote a terrific profile piece on him. Strongly recommend checking it out, because if you've grown a little distasteful when it comes to Draymond Green in recent years because of his antics, whether it was with Jordan Poole, Rudy Gobert, Yusuf Nurkic, whatever it is that has turned you off in recent years, that interview will add a little humanity to Draymond Green's persona, and maybe you'll like him a little more. But I promise you this, the Warriors do not win a championship this season without Draymond Green. And even though the box score tonight was not huge for him, his presence was clearly profound. Draymond finishing the game with 7 points, 10 assists. So at least he did not put up a triple single. And he also added 7 rebounds for Mr. Draymond Green. So I think those are all the primary stats that need to be touched on following tonight's game. I want to see real fast before I get to the audience. Any other notes that I wrote down that that need to be covered? I was posting a lot of clips. There were a lot of just highlight-worthy moments from this game, whether it was Steph doing just the theatrics of these massive deep bombs. Stephen Curry, by the way, his final stat line besides the 40 points. Again, the second time this season he's crossed the 40-point threshold. He was 7 of 13 shooting from beyond the arc. That's above 50%, folks. That is insane, even by Stephen Curry standards. 12 of 20 from the field total. Stephen Curry, I mentioned Jimmy Butler getting 10 free throw attempts and making all 10 of them. Stephen Curry had 9 free throw attempts, and he made all 9 of them. And that is part of the Jimmy Butler effect, because a lot of Stephen Curry's free throw attempts tonight came when the Warriors were in the bonus, meaning they accrued 5 fouls within a quarter. So even just a random ticky-tack defensive foul will send you to the free throw line. That's the Jimmy Butler effect. The dude is masterful at drawing fouls, the way he attacks. If I remember correctly, I counted 2+1s in this game as well, meaning he got fouled and made the field goal and made the free throw. Dude, this was beautiful basketball tonight. This was a huge win, a great Warrior season that started great, went into the crapshoot for 2 months. It's back, and maybe even better. I love Jimmy Butler. I already said I love Quentin Post. I love Guy Santos. I love Moses Moody. Stephen Curry goes without saying. I'm happy tonight, folks, and let's get Gary Garcia on the phone. Gary, good to see you, friend. How are you doing? Your reaction to the Warriors pulling off a 121-119 victory. You're muted, by the way. You're muted. Gary.
Sorry for that. Sai, good night. From the Dominican Republic, KSS, keep it simple, stupid. In the non-stat minutes, Jimmy surveys the floor and makes the right play every day, all day, every day. It's beautiful.
Yes, it is. Goddamn right it is, man. I'm getting you. This was beautiful. Continue on. I'm sorry.
Also, sorry for that. Good things happen when you limit Buddy Hield's minutes. It's atrocious.
He was bad tonight. He was bad tonight. Those were wide open threes that he was just bricking. It's not a good look for him. And the thing is, you have enough talent on this roster where you can easily survive not having him out there. I get the spacing. Cheers, brother. I only have water. Is that scotch, by the way?
Rum, Brugal.
Oh, well, there you go for the Dominican. You've got those ice cubes that I absolutely love, those big fat ones, man. Kudos to you, brother. Enjoy the rum celebration. You pirate, you are. Good stuff, brother. How's the Dominican treating you before I get to Chardal, who's going to be rocking tonight?
Great. The thing is that when you see Buddy moving, he has great vibes around him, but he's missing wide open shots that you see him practicing, and he's making 100% of them. And in game, it's a whole different story. He's missing long and wide. It's unbelievable. It's in his head. I think that the pressure playing side by side Steph Curry, it's real.
Well, and that's why, we've seen this. We've talked about this on the show, and I'm a little surprised the team. And again, maybe their hands were full tonight. They were distracted because Brooklyn did come out to play with physical basketball. They, like usual, they made all their damn threes early in the game. Brooklyn from the 3-point line in the opening quarter of tonight's game, just to show you how absurd it is on a night-by-night basis in terms of the Warriors and their opposition. I don't know why other teams start games as smoking hot as this. Brooklyn let me get this out. Yeah, in the first quarter was 5 of 11 shooting from 3. May not sound like insane, but 45.5% shooting from deep is very good. And then they continue that. In the second quarter, Brooklyn was 62.5% shooting from 3. Brooklyn was hitting their shots tonight. They made life difficult. So maybe the Warriors were too distracted to try to focus on Buddy in terms of getting him going. But we've seen the recipe. Have him make an easy bucket. Make him get a basic layup. Every time he does that, all of a sudden the confidence is back. But tonight that did not happen. So anyways. Anything else?
I think that also there's like a game time thing, a game planning thing, because let's face it, the Brooklyn Nets are 27th in 3-point percentage in
Not
the
tonight.
league.
Not tonight.
So they're like, yeah, go ahead, and then they start swishing. We have to come right out of the gate, ready to punch them in the mouth.
Agreed. I'm curious to know who Kev F is comparing to Omri Kespi. Is it Buddy Hield? Because I remember Kespi came onto this team and people were expecting a 3-point shooter in him, and he disappointed as well. And I'm just trying to figure out Kev F is Golden Dazer, which you're referring to. I also saw a comment in the chat I want to bring up, Gary, while you're here with me real fast, about the fact that Stephen Curry, I apologize, I lost who wrote the chat, but Stephen Curry, here it is. Greg Gordon wrote that Steph made at least 3 of his 7 threes tonight while double teamed. Great call. I'm glad you brought that up, not just because of the double teaming, but tonight was yet another example of the insane gravity that Steph has. The double teams were so blatant and obvious, but unlike the pre-Jimmy era, when you do that, they're going to make you pay now, dude. You can't get away with that shit anymore. So, but thanks, Greg Gordon, for bringing that up. Gary, any thoughts on the gravity of Steph?
Have you ever seen someone so joyful that another teammate is scoring from his gravity and from his passes than Steph Curry? He's joyful to watch. If he has 0 points and he gets 25 assists and they win, he's going to be the happiest kid on the block.
By the way, Gamer FTP in the chat, I don't remember this play off the top of my head, but I believe you. Gamer FTP is writing that Buddy Hield did have an open layup and he passed it. I don't remember. Again, I don't remember that play, Gary. I don't know if you remember it off the top of your head, but if that's true, then maybe the Warriors did try to get him going, and he blew that opportunity. But if that's true, at the same time, Buddy Hield in the second half of this game, I want to read off his minutes, because whatever that total is, here it is. It's too much. Buddy Hield played 7 minutes 44 seconds in the second half. The reason why the Warriors won this game is because that number was not larger. That's still too much, man. Like, if Buddy is not hitting early, and if Gamer FTP, what he writes is true, that they were trying to help him out in terms of getting him going, and he's passing up open layups, pull his ass out, man. Sit him on the bench. I mean, what are you doing? But again, at least we're seeing the adjustments early now. Like Steve Kerr's seeing the mistakes, making adjustments. I don't think we were seeing that enough until recently. What do you think, Gary?
Bro, as soon as I see Buddy Hield puts the ball on the floor, there's trouble coming. There's trouble brewing.
You're right.
We're like, no, man,
You're
pass
right.
it. He's not a good passer.
Isn't that what we were saying about Klay Thompson a year ago? Remember people were saying, like, Klay, when he's a catch and shoot player, he still has it. But then the moment he was trying to make plays on his own, when he was putting up shots off the dribble, it wasn't working, and he's gone. Same thing with Buddy. It's crazy. Any final thoughts, Gary?
MacLife CEO is saying with a paid chat, trade Curry so Kuminga can take over. Come on, man.
Oh, right here. MacLife CEO. Well, MacLife CEO preceded that with Curry is in Kuminga's. I think he's just trolling. But again, if you drop $1.99, you're going to get your comments read. So, yeah. So
Bron,
MacLife CEO.
Is that you, Bron?
Sorry.
Is that Bron?
I don't know. It was somebody with clutch. Regardless, congrats on the troll job. It
Clutch
worked.
implications. Bro, take care. Good night. As soon as we win, we have a good day. When we lose, as soon as I wake up, my wife goes like, "You lost like that." Yeah.
That's a good wife you have. Yeah. If she's sympathetic and empathetic to you having the grumpies when the Warriors lose.
She's like, "Good morning." I go like, "Ugh."
Good wife. That's a good wife, dude. A good partner recognizes your passions and interests and knows that a Warriors loss, it hurts. So kudos there. Oh, look, one more. MacLife before you go, real fast. MacLife CEO, another $1.99. Thank you for the contributions, writing that Jonathan Kuminga is a future MVP and All-Star. I hope so. Who knows? I mean, we shall see. Saturday might be the debut for Jonathan Kuminga, but MacLife, thank you for the donations. Gary, thank you for jumping in and the support as always. Joining us from the Dominican Republic, the great nation.
MacLife, Curry is now. Kuminga is let's see. And let's see, so the blind man said. Let's see.
Thank you, brother. Gary, have a great night. Thank you so much, brother. That was Gary Garcia joining us from the Dominican Republic. $5 from A. Tommy asking, how much of tonight's performance was the end of a long road trip and Draymond's birthday hangover? I was wondering that myself. Again, we had Danny Everman on the show early this morning. He was awesome, by the way. We're definitely going to have him back. He's doing a killer job as a beat reporter covering the Golden State Warriors. And the Warriors had a shoot around this morning. And my guess is if they were going to have a hangover, it was going to be yesterday. Draymond Green's birthday was 2 days ago. There was content posted on social media of the celebrations. They were at a steakhouse having the time of their life. I was going to guess that yesterday was going to be the hangover day. Danny Emmerman also added on this morning's show that the Warriors were likely not going to leave until tomorrow, which means they have another night tonight to party and have fun in the greatest city in the world, in my humble opinion on that. So who knows? But they're also human beings with a shitload of money and privilege, and and they're young. Draymond, Steph, they're not as young, but who knows? Maybe that's a part of it. But for Buddy Hield, no excuse is good enough. He does not have the luxury of excuses for an abysmal performance like that. So anyways, Pete Gregory dropping $1.99 as we bring Chardal on the show, saying that I equal Chardal as Steve Kerr equals Buddy Hield. Chardal, what are your thoughts on that analogy? And great to see it, friend.
I love that analogy.
Even though you're being called Buddy Hield. Okay, good. I like that. Chardal. How'd you feel about tonight, man? I'm going to shut up for a little bit. Take it over.
I felt good tonight. We won 121-119. Steph Curry, phenomenal. 40 points, 7 made threes for Steph Curry. What were your thoughts on Steph Curry's performance tonight?
It was fantastic. Again, he had a minus 16 net rating, which I think largely reflected the minutes he played in the opening quarter. Although Draymond Green matched his first quarter minutes, Draymond finished with a -7 in net rating. It was a bizarre, and again, this is where rating is one of those stats that you take with a grain of salt on an individual basis. Besides that, look, Stephen Curry is now in the discussions for the all-time greats. I'm glad we're seeing that. It's long overdue. He's playing phenomenal basketball, Chardal. What do you think?
He's playing phenomenal basketball too.
Yeah, keep going, brother.
I did a play-by-play stream today for the Warriors and Nets. It didn't go so well. Should I delete the stream if I don't think I did so well? Because I think it was not my best stream. Do you think I should delete it?
Well, delete any evidence that makes you look bad.
No, because I did the Magic and Warriors stream the day before. I think that was my better stream. So I don't. I did the stream today, and I didn't feel so good. It was awful. I had no energy today.
ATGYY in the chat is saying that you're burned out, Chardol. I'm hearing that as well. What are your thoughts on that diagnosis of you?
So I think I should delete. Do you think I should delete my stream off my channel if I don't think I did?
I'd say sleep on it. How can people here, Chardol? Let me ask you this, because I see this on at least on Twitter. There's certain people that are doing play-by-play during the game. Side note, that's illegal. How are you and others getting away with that?
Away with what?
Doing play-by-play of an NBA game.
I'm getting away with it.
I know you are. I'm asking how. You're just doing it and no one's saying a thing?
Nobody's saying a thing.
All right, there you go. All righty.
You know what I'll do? You know when I do a live stream and play-by-play, and normally people don't stream the game live on your channel. I said F it. I don't care. I'm gonna get caught. F it. I'm gonna put the whole live game on my channel. Like I don't care if people get a copyright strike. I say F it. I'm gonna, people don't recommend to when you live stream a channel, you put the live game on your channel. They say don't do it. I say I'm not scared. F it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put the live game on my channel and do it.
OMG Manny in the chat saying that what most folks who are doing these play-by-play duties, that you're not actually doing play-by-play. You're just giving the scores and then kind of giving a recap. Is that fair?
I think that's fair.
Are you showing the actual game on your stream?
No, I'm doing on TV. I'm doing the play-by-play on TV.
Okay, I see now. So basically, people can listen to you while they watch the game, right?
Yeah.
Is that working out for you? Are you successful?
It's working out for me.
Is it?
I think I should just delete it and start brand new and start fresh. Do another take on it.
Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do, Chardol. So you did not listen to Bob Fitzgerald's broadcast tonight, correct?
No.
I asked that for one simple reason, and Chardol, you're not going to get this. Most people will not get this, but Bob Fitzgerald, as crazy as this may sound to the audience, did me a favor tonight. And I'm not going to elaborate on that, but there was a part of this game where Fitz was reading a promo, and Fitz and I go way back, man. I started as an intern at KNBR in 2001. I was 21 years old. And so Fitz, and I was Fitz's producer for a little while at one point. We're not close friends or anything, but I have his number. I'm going to get him back on the show, actually. We're long overdue for that. Point is, he's not a bad dude in my book. And I don't criticize him as much as other people do for possibly being a homer. I feel like that's the main criticism of him as a play-by-play broadcaster. What's your opinion of Fitz, by the way? Do you think he's a homer?
He's a good play-by-play announcer.
Just not as good as you, right?
No.
There you go. Anyways, Fitz did me a favor tonight, and I just want to thank him for that. I cannot get into the specifics, but if you know, you know. And if you want to DM me, I'll happily elaborate. But anyway, so Fitz, thank you, brother. That was a huge do-good. That was just a very kind gesture to our program and to me. That was awesome. Chardol, any final thoughts, man? I feel like most of the energy that usually we'd be hearing right now, you spent it all broadcasting the game, and good for you, man. That's work. You expended energy to produce something. Bravo. I respect that. Any final thoughts?
So my thing is that so this is the energy that I'm gonna bring, that we got the win. The Warriors got the win. The Warriors got the 121 and 119 win. Steph Curry scored 40 points.
Relo, been a little while, saying, didn't I tell you the Warriors would win the championship this year? Yes, I'm back. Welcome back, Relo. I don't remember you saying that.
So my final thoughts are that I really love the show. And I love tuning into your show, and you bring a lot of great guests on your show. I'll just I love tuning in, and I love all the content you bring.
In terms of guests, by the way, a couple of upcoming guests that I'm working on. Ramona Shelburne, hopefully, will be on the show soon. I've been in touch with the Up and Smoke, all the smoke guys, more specifically Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. Barnes was on track, and then he got a little distracted.
So remember you said I could come on the show and be your co-host. Can we choose a date that I can do a comeback?
Can we do it again? At some point we will, yes. I can't do it consistently, Chardal, because you're not the only person that's asked that. And if other people see me...
Did other people ask that too?
Yes, and I don't want to be a Steve Kerr type where I have favorites. Like, I want to make this a fair and balanced approach and make it equal opportunity. So
But it'll be really nice if you favorite me. It will be really nice if you favoritize me.
I know it would. It would be nice for you.
Because I'm your favorite viewer, so like you gotta give me all the love.
We'll talk about that, all right, Chardal? I promise.
I'm your favorite viewer.
I believe you, brother. Thank you.
So then why would you not bring me back on?
I just told you, because if I bring you back on, other people will get upset at me because they've asked me if they can come on as well. And
or maybe you know how you could do it? You could bring on a co-host, and then you could bring on one person and have them speak for 5-10 minutes, and bring another co-host and let them speak for 5-10 minutes.
All right, we'll figure it out, Chardal. We'll figure it out. I love you, Chardal. I'm glad you did a good job. How can people check you out? For
my YouTube channel is SGA Sports Talk channel. I'm at 347 subs. I am gonna get to 400.
But you're not doing your play-by-play on YouTube, Chardal. Like, where can people see that?
On YouTube.
Oh, you do that on YouTube as well. So it's a live stream where you're just giving.
It's a live stream. I'm just F it. I'm just gonna delete the stream. I feel bad.
Okay, delete the stream. Do what makes you feel good. Do what makes you happy, Chardal.
I'm gonna work out to make me feel better.
Have a great night, brother. Go Dubs.
Yeah, I think working out would make me feel better.
I agree. Chardal, love you. Have a great night. Julian. Oh, it says your device is not connected. I can't bring you on. OMG, it's Manny, a golden dazer. How are you doing?
Man, it's late. It's 11 o'clock over here in Orlando, but I'm up. Wanted to stay up for the show. The game was good. It was it had me biting my nails because of the
big time, dude.
Especially after the Curry called the night, and then they just got lackadaisy and they closed it off. But
dude, they're like, that word tryhards. I certain teams and players, I feel like it's very applicable. The Brooklyn Nets were just a bunch of tryhards. They did not want to give up, even though they were going to lose regardless, man. Annoying from our perspective. I understand a Brooklyn Nets fan will be like, shut the F up, dude. My team was just trying out there. Yeah, that's why I call you tryhard, because you had no chance to begin with. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No. They were from the beginning. I mean, they had the energy from beginning to end. They had the height. They definitely, were very physical, and they had the whistle on their side. They were getting a lot. They were getting a lot of ticky-tacky whistles. They were getting away with a lot of physicality that was not being called on the Warrior side, which is why the game started the way it started. That's why you saw Steph frustrated. That's why you saw GP2 frustrated as he was. Draymond, but after on the second quarter, they calmed it down. They brought in the second unit. They brought in Gui, and Gui came in to settle it down because he brings that energy. He brings the dog. He's diving for balls. He's doing what he needs to do to help the team win, man. And I
say this, Manny, as a very straight heterosexual individual. I love Gui. By the way, Rello, you're getting some shots. There's somebody's taking shots at you here. Rello is saying that you said Jimmy Butler was going to be the same as Andrew Wiggins. Your thoughts?
That I said Jimmy Butler was going to be the same as Andrew Wiggins?
That's what Rello's saying, unless he's talking to someone else. Did you say that or no?
I don't recall. They're completely different players. I mean, if you really think about it, Wiggins had more of the perimeter defense than Butler does, at least a little bit. But Butler has such a dominant presence in the paint. That's why he has his nickname of what is that, Optimus Prime, where he just gets the ball in the middle and just toss him the ball, he's gonna get it. There were so many great plays where Draymond was finding Jimmy in the paint, especially when we had the mismatch, just to get the 2+1 or the and one calls and everything. But definitely Butler showed, especially at the end, his veteranship, how he was slowing down the game, got across the line, he got the ball, slowed everything down, gave Steph a breather, especially with how many minutes he played. I think Steph Curry played the whole entire first quarter, which he hasn't really been doing often. But with how the game started, I know that they needed that and more from him. But I mean, Curry came back and did his thing, and ultimately great win for the team. Worried about what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. That he just hurt his back.
Podziemski.
Yeah. Podziemski. Worried
I think
because
it looks. My guess is he was one of those tweaks. Have you ever thrown your back out, Manny?
oh, dude, I fell off a 15-foot ladder in the military. My back is messed up.
That's a whole other story, dude. I'm talking just about like a tweak where
I don't got anything little. If it goes, it goes
serious.
out.
That's serious what you're talking about there, dude.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry, man. That's brutal. My point is that's my initial impression. Side note, Rello, I did not say that. I was advocating for Jimmy Butler as a massive upgrade. Dude, Rello, not slander, please. Okay? Like, do not put words in my mouth. I never equated Jimmy Butler and Andrew Wiggins from the get-go. I was saying it would be a massive upgrade. So wherever you heard that, it was wrong. I don't know where you heard that. It wasn't from my mouth. I promise you that. I never once compared those two. I advocated for that trade from the get-go. Wrong program, brother. That was someone else. Anyway, so any final thoughts, Manny, before I get to Aim? No, Julian and then Aim.
Yeah, just two things. When people are doing the play-by-play, they don't necessarily show the game. They are calling out like who's passing the ball to who's scoring. They show the score, maybe how many timeouts they have left, but they cannot show the game. If not, YouTube will take it down. Like that's just there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And then the only positive thing I saw about Buddy Hield tonight is that he used up 22 minutes that are gonna go to Kuminga when he comes back. So hopefully that's where most of those minutes for Kuminga are coming out of, Buddy Hield, because lately he's been he scores every now and then, but he's been playing like trash, both offensive and defensively. So that's the only positive thing I see, that he got minutes that Kuminga's going to get once he gets back.
Manny, have a great rest of the night in Orlando, Florida. How's the weather there right now? Is it warming up yet?
No, it just dropped back down to its mid-50s, high 40s.
Well, enjoy, because it's going to get hotter than shit in like a month, right?
Yeah, probably going to hit a heat index of like 105.
Yeah, that's bad. So enjoy this cool day.
Yes, sir. You have a good one, man.
Brother. You too, Manny. Thank you so much for the support and love. Why don't we go to Pete Gregory's asking real quick about Jonathan Kuminga. Strongly recommend watching this morning's show. Danny Emmerman and I talked about that in great detail. The Warriors announced this morning after the shoot-around that Kuminga was not going to play tonight. I read in a recent episode Dr. Narath Pandia's words about his ankle sprain and how severe it actually is. It's literally just a day-by-day thing is where it's at. He could play Saturday. The Warriors, that's going to be the first of a 7-game homestand, which is side note here. I'm going to read to you this homestand real quick, and then Julian, you're coming on, I promise. Starting with on Saturday, the Warriors have 7 home games. And I would not be surprised if Kuminga's back for either that game, although my predictions have completely whiffed when it comes to Kuminga, so who knows. But could be the Detroit game Saturday. Could be Portland Monday. The Warriors then will have 2 more days off, and then they host the Kings on Thursday. Then they have another day off. Then they host the Knicks on Saturday. Side note, Draymond Green, I don't know if you folks caught his podcast comments. If I can find him, I'll play him, where he thought Karl Anthony Towns missed the Knicks game because he was basically afraid of facing Draymond. Wild stuff, man. Those two do not get along. Draymond also said that Karl Anthony Towns did not want to face Jimmy Butler. I'll try to find that soundbite for during tonight's show and play that. But anyway, so the Warriors, after they play the Knicks a week from Saturday, have another day off. Then it's the massive potential game of the year. Monday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, the Warriors host the Denver Nuggets. That is the statement game of statement games. That, to me, I think will dictate just how far the Warriors truly will go. That's the test. Then they're going to have a day off after that. And then the Warriors 7-game homestand will wrap up with a back-to-back set against Toronto and Milwaukee. So that's a hell of a nice stretch of games outside of Denver. We shall see. But when it comes to Kuminga, it just sucks that he's missed. I believe tonight was the 30th game in a row that he's missed. There's no positive way to spin any of that. But yeah, what are you going to do? Julian, how you doing?
Hey, Sai, can you hear me?
I can. How are you doing?
Great, I'm good. Isn't life funny?
Yes.
Because in the off season, we're all clamoring for Lauri Markkanen, and he's had a terrible season. And based on how the season has turned out, I don't think he would have made much of a difference on this team. Really, we would have probably still been at that 500 mark. Battling.
I mean, it depends on who they gave up, right? I mean, if the trade was like Wiggins and Podziemski and that's it, I do think it would have made a profound difference. But if you had to give up the farm for him, like if Kuminga was included, I don't know, man. Regardless, I hear what you're saying.
Want to know why I say it would have made a difference? Because we are seeing the impact of an unspoken or surface level talent that we cannot judge from Jimmy Butler. His attitude, his presence, his coaching, his inspiration among the team. You see Draymond is knocking down free throws. Everyone's getting to the line. So even if we had Markkanen and say he was averaging 18 and 8, his impact, the vibes that he give off would not be doing what's happening for this team.
Very possible.
And also, we were trying to get Paul George, and look how his season has turned out.
That could have been a massive lucky swing and a miss for the Warriors, dude, because you're right. I would take Jimmy Butler over Paul George 10 times out of 10. My guess is we would have gotten a much better version of Paul George than what Philly is getting, but I don't think the impact would be the same, dude. So 100% with you about the Paul George thing. I hear you on the Lauri Markkanen thing. I do imagine a lot how this team would look if they had Lauri. And most of those thoughts are very beautiful, man. Like a 7-footer who can space it basically would be like having Quentin Post, who's also athletic and can drive and handle the ball. Who knows? But I'm also at the same time, I totally feel you because the Warriors are on fire right now, bro. And this is working out so far. So I get it. I totally understand what you're saying.
I would say the thing is, and even the players are saying it, you can see there's belief on the court. And I believe that's the resume. Jimmy has proven it already as far as bringing two average teams to the NBA Finals. And so even if we had talent that wasn't Jimmy Butler, I think we will still be relying. And Draymond said this. He said he needed another asshole in this team. He needed another dog.
Yeah, yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Lauri's not a dog, and Paul George is not a dog.
Good call.
And then also, we love Steph, but I think we all understand that he is not the vocal leader. He is
correct.
He's the leader that I will show you, but he's not the vocal. And also, that's a lot of strain on a superstar that's giving you 30 points per night for him to come on and inspire the team and perform as well. So what Jimmy's bringing is something that I think that even myself didn't understand how impactful that is until actually having it on the team.
I'm sorry. I'm listening to every word you're saying.
You are the GOAT. You are the GOAT.
Dude, I can't. It's hard for me to take all this in, but I thank you, man.
What is your ethnicity? Are you Persian? Because they said
I'm most. I've got a mix of stuff, but I have I have Persian blood in me as well. I can speak Farsi slightly. I can understand it better, if that makes sense. But I've got some other stuff in me as well. But yeah, Persian is a significant amount of my heritage. Yes. Yeah. So.
And what do you teach at?
Which means if you mess with me, I'm going to bomb the shit out of you. So be careful. Got the terrorist blood in me, friends. I'm kidding. What'd you ask, Julian? I'm sorry. What?
I was going to say, what do you teach? Sharda's always saying you're a professor.
Journalism, just journalism, a field that's dying in academia. But I teach a journalism class at San Jose State. It's a new media class where students are basically learning like all these different applications with Adobe, and I teach them like multimedia production skills. And then at a community college in Southern California, Moore Park College, I teach a writing class and an intro to mass comm class. But academia is struggling, dude. That used to be like a full-time career for me. And I know we're not here to talk about that, but no one's going to school anymore unless it's for like a STEM class that can give you a pretty solid guarantee of a job placement, right? Like the humanities degrees, English, history, journalism, like you're not getting jobs out of that. And people have stopped going to school as a result. Which I think will be a detriment to society.
I think you should probably look into being
the process. Sorry, go ahead. What?
I was like, you should probably look into being a private tutor because, like you said,
this is my career now, dude. This is growing, and hopefully it'll get to a point where this is actually going to be fruitful. And if it ever does get to that point, I'm giving it all back, dude. Like I want to have like an animal refuge on my property. I want to start giving swag back to folks. The plan is to still build a website where anyone can write on it and contribute their own content and make money off it. But I got to make this like a profitable thing first. We're not quite there yet. But Julian, we're talking about me too much. Go back to the Warriors. How are you feeling, man?
You're the Persian goat. I believe that this team has a legitimate shot, and that's what I was talking about as far as. If we had someone else, and like, yeah, it's nice, we're doing okay. We would feel like the Rockets, like, oh, we're a great team. We're in the middle of the pack. But just like Draymond said, when you see it, and there's a difference on that. Let me ask you a question. What do you think on these 4 games? You see how we played. If we didn't have Jimmy Butler, say it was just a previous team, would we have gone 0-5?
1-4. As weird as this may sound, I actually think if they didn't have Jimmy Butler, they would have won the Philly game and then lost all the other ones. Totally spitballing here, dude. Who knows? But you're absolutely right, Julian. Without Jimmy Butler, this team sucks. This team was ass, bro. Like they had Stephen Curry and Draymond Green on their team, and they were a 500 club, dude. Like that was inexcusable. I can't believe they went as long as they did without giving Stephen Curry the help he deserves. And what a huge surprise that the moment you put a superstar next to him, oh, look, the GOAT's back, man. Like Michael Jordan. You know what I was thinking when since watching all the success with Jimmy Butler, and I want to share this graphic while we're on the topic to highlight just the incredible impact of Jimmy Butler, because NBC Sports Bay Area posted this fantastic visual that I want to show detailing all the differences that the Warriors have experienced since Jimmy Butler has been added. But bro, I was thinking about Michael Jordan when he was on the Wizards. He had nobody, right? Like he had no help, and he was a year or two older than what Stephen Curry is right now. And part of me wonders, like, if Jordan actually had help on that Wizards team, would they be okay? But he had no help. Well, Stephen Curry got help, dude, and now he's looking like this all-time great player again. It's beautiful to watch. It's beautiful to see. And of course, I can't find the graphic now. Julian, any final thoughts? I'm going to find that graphic in a second here. But final thoughts?
I think I've seen a lot of graphics that you're talking about. Like we are top 5 in defense and offense since Jimmy has come. We were top 10 defense before Jimmy, but he just bumped that up. We're averaging like over 120 points per game. And I think Redlow in the chat, he's brought up a lot of points that I said as far as it's funny how life works. Quentin Post has been exactly what this team has needed. And
Quentin
I know
Post is awesome. Guy Santos is awesome. This is the graphic, by the way, which details how the Warriors have done the last 10 games.
Well, real quick. Why? And I saw this during the game, and I said this in my mind. It says last 10 games, but it says the record 9-2. That's 11. So they messed up there.
They did. My guess is they meant 11 because I think it's been 11 games since Jimmy Butler was traded. They screwed up. It's what, speaking of dying industries and mediums, I just talked about academia, TV, radio, right behind, dude. So my guess is whoever is handling the graphics for NBC Sports Bay Area, it could be like an intern for all we know. But you're right. That's a great catch, dude, because I did not catch that. Last 10 games, they're 9-2. Make that make sense. Good catch on that, Julian. But real quick before you go, Julian, and then we're going to get aim assist on the program, and then Caleb. Yeah, aim assist, and then Caleb. But this graphic, I got to articulate it for the podcast audience. 9-2 in the Jimmy Butler era. And side note, they only have one loss with him actually playing. He sat out that one game, which is why they're actually 9-2. They only have one loss when he plays, and that's the Mavericks game. He was out for the Philly game, which is where that second loss comes from. Since Jimmy Butler has been on this Warriors team, the Warriors are second in the NBA in net rating. That stat is indicative of how dominant a player is. The Warriors, for all of their championship teams, were either leading or right at the top of the NBA in terms of net rating. What that number means, 14.5, is that's the margin of victory on average for each game for the Warriors. They're outscoring other teams on average by 14.5 points per game. It's phenomenal. Although I think that actually means the difference between offensive and defensive scoring per 100 possessions. I think technically that's what that net rating figure means, but it's the same shit, man. It just means like how much you're blowing teams out by. And the Warriors are second in the NBA in net rating since Jimmy Butler's been on this team, a league that includes OKC. We're including Cleveland. We're including the Lakers, who are getting way more hype than the Warriors. They're third in the NBA since Jimmy Butler got here in terms of free throws made per game. They're making 20 free throws per game now. Third in the NBA. They were dead last in that category beforehand. Free throw percentage, first, 84.9% of their free throws made. They're second in assists. You've all seen how incredible of a facilitator, of a passer Jimmy Butler is. Side note, Julian, what was your thoughts about the big lineup that we saw out there? Where it was, again, I'll say it again because this was about 20 minutes ago. Jimmy Butler is your point guard. Moses Moody as your shooting guard. Guy Santos as your small forward. Draymond Green as your power forward. Quentin Post as your center. That lineup is awesome for what you can pull out there when Stephen Curry's on the bench. And side note, when Kuminga's back, you can swap him for either Moody or Gee if you want. You don't have to. But what's your thoughts?
My thoughts are finally Steve Kerr pulled a actual coaching move. And because he always says, Jimmy's a great passer. He's a great ball handler. I can trust him. All right, that sounds like a point guard to me because you're trying to get him to run your second offense. And I believe I was on your show prior, and I said Gui is actually a guard. Gui. He's actually a guard in Brazil.
He was point guard, correct.
Yeah, so you can run him out there to play those perimeter and move the ball. And I know he's big, and maybe here's the thing. You are right as far as size wins. So you don't need to have foot speed to stay directly in front of your man. If you have, if everyone on your five-man lineup has 7-foot wingspans. So, you have Gui guarding, Jimmy helping, Post guarding the rim. Then you have Moody. Moody's been playing great. I think Butler has really brought out the best in Moses Moody because Moody, every loose ball, he's getting to it. He's diving. He's reaching in between people's legs to grab the ball. It's that energy of, hey, if I'm out here hustling, all of you got to hustle. And I think Jimmy Butler really respects Gui Santos, Moody, and even Podziemski's game because they're the ones that they'll get the bloody nose. They'll take the charges. They'll dive on the floor. And I feel that he's brought that out of them even more so. And I think Steve Kerr, like I say, he finally made a move. He's understanding the chemistry that it takes with these people. If you're just going to be laid back and going through the motions, you're not going to get Jimmy Butler's respect. That's what he did in Minnesota. He said, Wiggins, you're more talented than me, but I'll bust your fucking ass. He told Cat, you're the number one pick, but I'll bust your ass. I'll take a bunch of 4 other bums. You take your starters, and he beat them. And that's Jimmy Butler's mindset. He's like, I don't care about your talent. Are you going to work hard on this court? Because hard work is what wins games, not God-given talent.
And effort's vitally important. Tim Ford in the chat brings up the fact that, or the interesting talking point, which is that the Warriors haven't played anyone since they acquired Jimmy Butler. So I took a look at the schedule just to see if that notion is true. So Jimmy's first game was against the Bulls. Side note, I bring that up because tonight the Warriors came back from a 22-point deficit to win this game. That wasn't the only deficit of 20 or more points that they overcame to win. In the Bulls game, Jimmy's first as a Warrior, they were down by 25 in that game, and they came back to win. which is phenomenal, man. It shows that this team does not quit even when they're facing big deficits. But look at the schedule. I'm not pretending the Bulls are real competition. At Milwaukee, Giannis was out, so I will not count that one. At Houston, I will count that one because they were on the second of a back-to-back. That was immediately after the loss to Dallas, that back-breaking loss, man, that was clearly rigged to make the Dallas fans feel better.
And the Rockets were top four. They were top four during that time. They were the top 4 seed during that time.
Exactly. So they beat Houston the very next night. I am going to count that as a good win. One other game I'm going to count as a really good win was at New York. The New York Knicks are the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference. And again, I know Karl Anthony Towns was not playing, but dude, they're 40-21. And how are they doing against LA, by the way, right now? Are you watching?
Last time I checked, they were LA was beating them, but I haven't checked.
Okay, so I'm looking at the score right now, and the Knicks lead that one 63-56 in the third quarter. Doubtful we'll have the final result by the end of the show. My point is, on one hand, Tim Ford, I get you. On the other hand, who do you want them to beat? Because without Jimmy Butler, they took care of OKC. The Denver game is coming up March 17th. The Lakers game is coming up in early April. The Warriors play the LA Lakers, more specifically, on Thursday, April 3rd, and they play the Nuggets the very next night again. But I guess what I'm asking is, who do you want them to play to be convinced? You're supposed great teams blow out bad teams. The beginning of the season, for example, when they started the season 12-3, their first game of the year, the first 2 games more specifically, were on the road against Portland and Utah, games they were supposed to win, and they beat the ever-living piss out of those 2 teams. First night of the season, Warriors were at Portland. They won 140-104. They won by 36. Very next night, or 2 nights later, at Utah, they beat them 127-86. You're supposed to beat the shit out of bad teams. And that's what the Warriors are doing since they got Jimmy Butler. I hear what you're saying in terms of a real test, and that's coming. But that's the fact that the Warriors have not had this litmus test of a Denver Nuggets or a Lakers or whoever you want to see them play to feel better about things. They're still taking care of business against everybody. I mean, the one loss with Jimmy Butler was at Dallas in a game that was rigged. So
we got screwed.
Get it, Tim Ford. On the other hand, if they were squeaking all these games out against the bad teams, I would share your concern if you are concerned. But they're taking care of business. They're doing what they're supposed to do, as evident by the fact that their net rating with Jimmy is a plus 14.5. That is a big number. The Warriors on the season, in case you're curious about what their net rating is overall, and I have that, I think, right here. The Golden State Warriors net rating on the season is a plus 2.1. So with Jimmy Butler, that number goes up to 14.5. That is absurd. That is record-setting. A few more of these numbers real fast, by the way, since Jimmy Butler got here. Warriors are second in the NBA since the Jimmy Butler trade and him suiting up to play in assists. They're averaging 31.6 assists per game. Tonight, the Warriors had 31, which, again, anything 30 or above is outstanding for assist totals. And just to finish up the stat lines, turnover differential. They're plus 6.0. First in the NBA. The Warriors are notorious for turning the ball over, even at the peak of the dynasty. Steph and Dre were still losing the ball left and right. They're now first in the NBA in turnover differential, and they're first in the NBA in terms of points off turnovers. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, you hit the nail where Butler fixed our 2 major issues, which was turnovers and free throws. Those are the things that were losing those close games that we're getting. And I know you got other people come through, so I would say real quick last thoughts. Please. When you're saying, oh, it doesn't move the needle, we haven't beat anybody. You and I just discussed, if Butler wasn't here, we probably would have gone 0-5 or 1-4 on this road trip. So get the wins you can. The Knicks, they're the 3rd seed, but they haven't beat their top teams in their conference. But you want to be able to beat the people that are in front of you. And lastly, people like Kendrick Perkins and everyone doesn't understand. We have a 21 point per game, almost 7 rebound, 3 assist, 37% from 3 player coming back, and that's Jonathan Kuminga his last 10-plus games before he got injured. And that's what I believe Kuminga is. I believe that he's a 20.7 rebound guy, 50% from the field. And for some reason, when he gets minutes, his three-point shot is good. But everyone's saying like, oh, he's not a floor spacer. Check every single year when Steve Kerr gets out of his whatever he's in and finally starts playing Kuminga, he shoots over 35% from three. And I can't wait to see what Jimmy Butler does for Kuminga. I think Butler's probably just going to have a like a walk in the park because, you know, he's unselfish. He's going to find everyone. He's going to find Kuminga, Curry, everybody. You might see Jimmy Butler average 13 points per game, but we're going to be blowing people out. So it's going to be a good
and the thing about spacing, I'm glad you brought that up because that seems to be such a strong point of emphasis for a lot of people when it comes to offense. And side note, I never heard that term once until the Stephen Curry era and the three-point shooting revolution that's taken over since. People think that shooting is what you need to create space, right? That if you have a shooter, for example, hiding in the corner of a basketball court, that's going to create space because the defender has to stay close to him. That's not the only thing that creates space. Movement creates space. Speed creates space. The ball is always going to move faster than the individual, right? So passing creates space. And when you have a player like Jonathan Kuminga with his explosiveness, attacking the rim consistently, and the threat of that attack is always on the defender's mind, that creates space. I am the furthest from being worried about space issues on this team just because they don't have three-point shooters on it. That's not the only way to create space, man. It's one of them, but you're also stalling an offense with a system like that where you have a lot of shooters just hanging out on a perimeter. It slows things down, if anything. So I don't buy that logic in terms of like Kuminga, you know, taking spacing away. What
a team's going to do when they're constantly doubling Jimmy Butler? You can see it in the post. Even when he has 5 points a game, you see that every time he catches the ball, he has two eyes on him. If you have Steph Curry where they're trying to double and triple team and they game plan for, Kuminga's going to be wide open for cuts and drives all day. And so that's going to be really fun to see. And I think a lot of people are really going to see how talented the Warriors really are because we're winning games. Yeah.
We shall see. Julian, you have yourself a great night, brother. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for getting me on. Thank you.
Good segment. Anything you want to promote before you go? I think because
I want to promote you. I hope you get Ramona Shelbourne. Is that her name? And
I'm working on her. Yeah. I'm working on is it All the Smoke or Up in Smoke? The show.
No, it's All the Smoke with Matt Barnes.
I'm working on both of them. For guests, Gary St. Jean, the former GM of the Warriors.
We want to see your subscribers skyrocket.
I know, I'm trying, man. It's a work in progress, brother.
I want you to still Kyle Mills back over from what's the place Locked On Warriors? That who you always had on there? Yeah, bring her over here. Yeah, get your subscribers up to like 50,000. All right?
No. That was my old show. That's in the past. Thank you, though, brother. And side note,
let's shut them down.
The vast majority of the subscribers on that channel came through when I was hosting there. So hopefully we'll bring the majority there. It's a slow process. We're literally like 30 subs away from 4,000. It took me 3 years there to get 13,000. Yeah. It's taken me 8. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say everyone in the chat needs to go spam Locked On Warriors and tell them to come over here. Okay?
On them. That's all I gotta say. Julian, thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. Right. Have a great night, dude. Thank you. I appreciate the love. Aim assist, I'm going to get to you in 1 second. I want to hear first from Draymond Green. He spoke to the media after the game in Brooklyn. He just recently celebrated his 35th birthday. Happy birthday again to Draymond Green. 35 is a very special year. Whoops, wrong screen. Let's share this one instead. Here is Draymond after the game talking about the 5-game road trip.
You know what's crazy is that when we were just out there on the court, I was thinking to myself, like, the NBA is lucky because this man is going into every arena putting on the show. Sounds like it's a home game every time he does it. I mean, like, we're all lucky to watch him operate the way he operates, play in the game the way he played the game. It's been special to watch, but this road trip was something different for him for sure. You know,
Yeah, and that's where a lot of these sound bites, that's the theme. I so far I saw one clip that I could have played of Steve Kerr, but everyone's talking about the gravity, not of opposing defenses, but of opposing fan bases, where everywhere Stephen Curry goes, he's like a rock star. He's like the Beatles of the 60s, Michael Jordan of the 90s. LeBron has, to a certain extent, a similar draw, but also at the same time, he doesn't. Because I feel like the difference between Steph and LeBron in terms of popularity and influence is the average person can relate to Steph a million times more than LeBron. Maybe not personally in terms of their life history and family backgrounds. I do think LeBron, a huge part of his appeal is coming from practically nothing and overcoming, a lot of obstacles that people who grow up in impoverished settings face, and bad influences dragging you down. LeBron went he took the high road and he did everything right. He deserves respect for that. So, but Stephen Curry, in terms of the basketball court, he's 6'3". Okay. Like the average human being, I think is what, 5'9", 5'10", or something like that. Stephen Curry's a shooter. That's what most of us who play basketball are. Most of us can't dunk a ball. So in terms of relatability, I think Stephen Curry in a lot of ways actually has a more profound influence than LeBron James. And so whatever arena he goes to, he gets the superstar treatment. Michael Jordan was getting this in the 90s as well. The similarities there are very comparable. Mad respect. Let's go to Aim Assist. Yeah, Aim, you're on the show, and you've got the incredible voice. How you doing? If you're there.
Hello.
What's up, man?
Man, Buddy Hield, bro. Bro, Buddy Hield is horrible, bro. And usually I don't agree with your chat, but bro, they usually say Paul George is washed. I don't know if Buddy is washed because I don't know when he was ever good. Maybe the Pacers, but that was so long ago.
The way it blows my mind, Aim, that sorry to interrupt you real fast, but does it blow your mind the way it blows my mind that he has made more threes than any other player the last 5 years? I don't know if that stat still stands at this point, but it did earlier this season. That is insane to me. Make that make sense. Continue on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know Curry was injured, but that surprised me too, bro. Like, what happened? Like, what happened to you, bro? Like, you were last good on what, the Pacers? That was like 5 years ago, bro. Like, are we dead ass? Are we serious, bro? But
we have
other than that,
we have a very credible YouTube account who goes by the name FFFGF space EFJ. Clearly a real person, not a troll. And they're writing, I'm being facetious, writing that Buddy Hield just had 2 good games, and now we're all changing on him. FFFGF EFJ. Little message for you, man. 2 games is not enough to change public sentiment. Much more is needed before anyone's going to pretend that Buddy Hield is not, for the most part, a massive negative when he's on the basketball court. How do you defend zeros across the board except for 1 assist, 1 rebound, and then he neutralized those 2 with 2 turnovers? Dude, he's missing wide open buckets, man. He almost was single-handedly the reason why the Warriors lost this game tonight. It's absurd. Sorry to disagree with you, FFFGF space EFJ. Continue on it.
bro, that's hilarious. Zeros across the board. It's crazy, bro. And bro, 2 good games. What 2 good games? He ain't had 2 good games in a row since like when? This is a Buddy Hield good game right now. So he will brick about 7 shots, but then he gives energy on defense somehow. But you can pay me to go out there and do cardio, so that don't mean nothing. So, but other than that, the game was great. They was trolling at first, but you know, it's still a good win. A win is a win at the end of the day. So I'm not really mad.
Exactly, dude. The NBA is it's never been deeper. Like, it blows my mind that there are not 4 more expansion teams. When dudes like, was it Lonnie Walker who recently just came back to the NBA? Like, that guy is a solid basketball player, and he had to go to Europe for a little while to make money before he came back. The NBA is so deep, dude, that I literally will take a win against any team not named the Wizards and be happy with it, right? The Wizards, that's insane, dude. I mean, they're just such an atrocious team. Although maybe they're a little better with Marcus Smart now, who knows? But I'm with you, brother. Any other team, you beat them, especially on the road when role players are hitting their shots. Then none of those role players are hitting those shots if we're playing this game at Chase Center. You take that happily, dude. 100% with you. 100% with you.
Oh yeah. We do have a rough schedule in April. I'm not gonna lie. That's really rough. But I think we just take advantage of these upcoming games, and then, if we lose like 2 of those games in April, it's okay. But we gotta at least win against some competitive teams. Even though the Rockets are still a good team, people really forget about that. Yeah, they're a really good team. So that's still a good win either way. They're fully healthy. And I don't care about Jabari Smith. He's terrible, so it doesn't matter.
Aim, Julian Bashir in the chat is claiming that you are really Dwight Howard. Is that true?
Yeah, I am Dwight Howard. I'm going to be on the team by next week. I'm going to get my old ass on the team. I can still dunk too.
Golden Dazer saying that Buddy's never played meaningful basketball until now. He's always just been a chucker. I saw someone else write something about how with every other team he's been on, he had a green light to shoot whenever he wanted. And, Kev F right here saying Buddy has always gotten the green light to shoot as many shots as he wanted on other bad teams. But on this team, those misses are glaring. They're noticeable. So Kev F, what are your thoughts on that, man? That Buddy Hield, the player the Warriors signed, was in completely different environments, and now the spotlight is much bigger. I think that's what Kev F is trying to say. Any reaction to that?
Bro, that's bullshit, bro. Because when he was on Philly, the fans were literally saying once they got to the playoffs, bro, he wasn't doing anything. And they literally told us, they warned us, it was going to be good in the beginning, but it's going to be bad midway through the season. So that's just BS.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. And Mitchell and Ness adding Hield did put up 15 and 22 the last 2 games. Again, 2 games. We're happy about that. When I say we, I mean
bro, 15 on 30%. Are we serious?
I got to pull up the Buddy Hield game log. I want to see what his last, how he's been playing since Jimmy Butler got here. Because on last night's show, or was it 2 nights ago, whatever it was, I had someone saying that Jimmy Butler was not making a difference even with Buddy Hield. And I didn't agree with that sentiment. I thought even though Buddy Hield is still bad, I did think he was playing a little better since Jimmy Butler was traded to this team. So let's take a look at the game log here for Buddy Hield over the last 10 games. Well, okay, let's start with this. Actually, let's start with the month of March. 4-game sample size. Buddy's averaging 14.3 points per game. That includes tonight's 0. That's because of those 22 and 15 point outputs. He's shooting 32% from 3. Because in the Philly game, in case people forgot, he was 0 of 6 from beyond the arc in Philly, 0 of 5 tonight. So over the last 4 games, 32% shooting from 3, averaging 4.3 rebounds, 1.7 assists. Okay, 47.2% shooting from the field.
Damn, you don't pass the ball? You don't pass?
Yeah, he only averages 1.7 assists. In the month of February, which is a sample size of about 14 games, 12 games, something like that. Here, I'll count it out real fast. 11 games. So he played 11 games in the month of February. He averaged 10.5 points per game. He shot 37.7% from 3. It's not bad. And these were his individual scoring outputs. And I think that the problem with Buddy, besides the fact that he lays absolute stinkers like tonight, is there just is not consistency. He had a brief consistent run in a stretch where they played Utah, the Lakers, Chicago, and Milwaukee, where he scored 18, 14, 14, and 16. That's great, right? The double-figure scoring in those games. He was 4 of 8 from 3, 4 of 9 from 3, 4 of 9 from 3, 2 of 8 from 3. Okay, you live with that. That's great. But then he followed that up with 3 points, followed that up with 2 points. Then he had 22 points against Sacramento, right? That was a great night. Followed that up with 3 points. Then he had 16 against Charlotte. Okay, great. You contributed. Followed that up with 3 points. And then that leads to the Philly game, 6 points, 0 of 6 shooting from deep. And then he had the 2 good games against Charlotte and New York, 22 and 15. And then tonight, 0 across the board. The point is, Buddy Hield will have his moments. He'll have his games. We've heard Steve Kerr mention that his value primarily comes in the form of spacing, right? Like teams still are afraid of him. I don't know why. If I'm defending the Warriors, Buddy Hield is not a primary focus of mine, but he is for a lot of coaches. So that's where the value comes from. He spaces the floor in terms of his threat as a 3-point shooter because other teams are still incredibly acknowledging that. But there is no consistency, man. Like you just can't rely on the guy. And if you can't rely on him, don't play him 20 plus minutes, man. That's a problem. Any final thoughts, Aim, or any other thoughts you want to talk about or anything else?
Nothing really, but he just need, man, I don't know what he need. He needs some shooting counseling or something. That shit's horrible.
I love how Aim just drops. That is awesome, man. Good stuff. I call that a smoke bomb. It's the best way to leave any social situation. So any social situation, don't say a thing. Just move on. By the way, I did mark this in the chat. A couple more pay chats, by the way. Mac Life CEO continuing to donate $1.99 for Kuminga slander. This time the chat is, quote, trade mediocre ASAP if you're serious about a chip. To which I'll reply again. If you can keep doing this, I can keep doing this. The trade deadline passed. You literally cannot trade him right now. But again, for $1.99, your sentiment was expressed. I promise you this. I guarantee you this. When he does come back, I'm not going to hear from you because he's going to be kicking ass out there. And the level of basketball you will see from this Warriors squad when he's playing is going to blow you away. I'm not hearing from you. And if I do, then thank you for the free money at that point. The Great Rich Mitchin, which is Mac Lyle CEO's alter account, writing, trade Kuminga ass if you want that gold with Curry. To which I reply again, the trade deadline passed. You can't trade him. And thank you for the donation. Oh my God. Let's see if there's any other sound that has come down before we check out the scoreboard and call it a night. We have one more person in the chat. I apologize. Caleb, my sincerest apologies. You are the last audience member to join this program. How are you doing on a Thursday night? We're almost at Friday.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, and it was a close game. I expected it to be, I didn't really expect it to be this close. We did horrible in the first quarter, but we did good at the second half. Got it to 5 points, and first player I want to talk about is Buddy Hield. It's just consistent at this point. He's just trash. I don't know what to say about him. But the thing is, it's just
real fast. Caleb, real fast. Abraham DeLeon, who, in my opinion, writes some of the most astute comments in the chat. I feel like I agree with everything he writes. So I don't know if this post is a troll job or if you're being serious. Because if you're being serious, I'm befuddled here. Abraham DeLeon writes, Buddy Hield is going to help this team win a championship. Caleb, your reaction?
Okay, Abraham, I don't know if you're watching the games. I don't know if we're seeing the same thing, bro, because you're not saying the same Buddy Hield because he went 0 for 8 today. 0 for 8, right?
Yes.
Yeah, this is concerning at this point. Like, I don't know where I heard this stat, but I heard he's better at catching when he dribbles and shoots. He's like 15%, but when he just catches the ball and shoots, he's 85%. So he needs to go to the gym and practice his dribble shooting or something. Because, oh my God, it's not. He said it's not trolling.
He's not trolling. And Abraham DeLeon, again, this is the first time, and I don't know how many years you've been writing in the chat, Abraham. Like, this is the first time you've ever made me kind of pause. Abraham DeLeon, if you don't mind following up this post where you wrote, watch the stats. What stats? Just please enlighten me. What stats am I missing that makes you think he's going to be a contributor for a title? Please indulge me. Continue on, Caleb.
Yeah, so I don't even want to talk much about Buddy Hield. Just
all right. What do you want to talk about?
Quentin Post, like defensively, he's really improved. I really love it. He He's out there. He's like disrupting, drivers. And him and Draymond has been an amazing defensive duo, and I really like that. And I don't know if I'm tripping, but like I feel like they need to pass the ball to him way more. Like he's be open and stuff, but they ain't be passing it, so it's all right. GB2 had a great game, contracted your GB2. He's going crazy. He's actually offensively, he's even been an actual like factor. So I've been impressed out of that. But one question I have for you is, so Kuminga, I'm hoping he comes like for the Detroit game, I heard this other guy that was talking to you saying that, Kuminga's a better shooter. So, I would be okay with him starting, but during
well, real quick, Caleb, real fast. Danny Emberman, beat reporter covering the Warriors for the Mercury News, was on the program this morning. Again, even though the Warriors have played since then, strongly recommend checking that out because he's literally traveling with the team, doing a phenomenal job covering the team. He informed the audience this morning that Kuminga will not start when he comes back. This much is a fact. So now that you know that, continue on.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I know it's okay, and that's okay. I didn't know that till this morning. Hopefully, this program is educating you folks. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
So now we all know that fact. Continue on, man.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong right here, but I've noticed Kerr he be instilling two lineups when like after the starting lineup it'd be Pods, Jimmy, Draymond, and Post, and then I don't know if it's one other person. I don't know. Like that's one lineup he goes with. Like with the non-Steph minutes. And I've noticed that lineup defensively has been excellent, to be honest.
Can you repeat that one more time? So this is the non-Steph minutes. Who is the personnel?
Pods, Jimmy, Draymond, and Post, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that correct?
Who's the fifth dude? Because that's four names right there. Who's the fifth?
Yeah, I'm not sure the fifth dude. I think it's Moody though. I'm not exactly sure though.
Okay, that's cool. I respect that.
Yeah, I think like for the non-Steph minutes, like that would be great. And then slide Kuminga with Steph. I don't know if Buddy's gonna play. Steph, Kuminga, Gui Santos has been amazing. Were
you the one, Caleb, that originated that?
Yeah, I was the Gui guy.
The Gui guy, brother. I love it. Caleb.
Yeah.
Caleb, you need to let me know like what more specifically either like a social media handle is for you or because it's disingenuous to you for me to give credit to who originated Gui as Caleb, that dude in the chat that comes on the show sometime. Give me a little more specifics without revealing your identity if you don't want to do that, so I can give you the proper credit, if that makes sense.
I mean,
you don't have to do it tonight. Think about it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I got that. I'll figure out something for that. But
yeah, because you deserve credit, dude. Gui is an awesome nickname for him.
Yeah, he's been amazing. I love it.
I love Gui. Love Gui and I love Quentin, dude. Love them both.
Yeah, and the lineup with him, Steph, and Kuminga, I feel will be very beneficial. It would be because I want to say Jimmy and like Kuminga, they're kind of similar players, but Kuminga more athletic and Jimmy having a little better passing ability and IQ. So I really wouldn't want to have both of them play together a lot. But we'll see what Kerr does. And I don't know. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think they should play more together or?
Because here's the thing. Spacing goes beyond just having shooters on your team. The fact that both those players move off the ball, the fact that both those players can pass the ball efficiently, that's all you need to create spacing, dude. Like those two together. Let me give you another pairing that maybe is kind of similar. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Like neither of those players are necessarily known for three-point shooting. They put up good numbers, but they're not exactly known as being marksmen in that category. Yet those two together do not have issues creating space. Those two together cause havoc for other teams because they're both athletic, talented, high basketball IQ individuals. They're an insane duo. They're champions. I see a very strong similarity between that pairing and the Kuminga Butler pairing if Kuminga can elevate his game and take it to the next level. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And for like the Kuminga hitters, like I don't know what you guys are on. He's gonna be our future best player, honestly. Unless something crazy happens, he's gonna be our future cornerstone with Quentin Post being on center and like Moses Moody. And I'm really loving the future and Pods and stuff. The future is looking bright. Honestly, this team, I feel like Kuminga is our piece away from the championship. He's gonna be the one who elevates us to that. And we're like 2 wins away from Houston, so I love the matchup with Houston. If we could get them in the first round, that'd be great. And yeah, that it's looking nice with them. And yes, that's about it.
And
real fast,
because Caleb, this started when you were here, and I want to continue it while you're here. Abraham DeLeon explains the reason why he thinks Buddy will help the Warriors win a championship is because his 3-point shooting percentage is acceptable. His 3-point shooting percentage for the season, case in point, is at 36.7%, which is good. Here's the problem. It's not consistent, meaning he'll have nights where he makes like 6 of 8 threes, right? And he'll maybe do that for 2 or 3 games in a row. And he boosts that percentage up because of the streakiness of his shooting. And then he'll follow that with 5 games where he's like averaging 15%. The guy shot below 30% from 3 for over 2 months. December and January. I actually have his log right here. So in the months of December and January, Buddy Hield's 3-point shooting in January was 31.5%, and in December was 30.5%. Okay, so he barely kept it above 30, but it was right around 30 to 31%. That's still bad, dude. That is not good. Anything below 33% is not something you can live with, because 33% shooting from 3 is the equivalent of 50% shooting from 2. 30% for 2 months. Now, the reason why his average overall is as high as it is because at the beginning of the season, in November, for example, Buddy Hield shot 50% in a 5-game sample size at the start of the season. In the month of October, Buddy was shooting 50% from 3. In the month of November, he was shooting 41.4% from 3. And then December, it dropped to 30.5. January, it was at 31.5. The last day of the year in January, Buddy Hield shot 60% in a game. He was 3 of 5 shooting from deep against Phoenix, and that's what brought it up over 30. My point is, overall, yes, his average looks pretty damn good, Abraham DeLeon. I'm not going to lie. But considering you have no idea which Buddy you're going to get, that freaks me the fuck out. And I don't know how you can count on the good Buddy showing up in the postseason. I mean, I don't think he has much of a postseason track record to begin with. So, look, Abraham DeLeon could be right. He could be right. Because if the Buddy that shows up in the postseason is the one we saw in October, November, bueno, sign me up, man. That's the good Buddy. But if we get the Buddy that was playing in December, January, hell no, dude. He's going to cost the Warriors game. So if you're streaky like that, man, if I'm a coach, I'm not playing that. I'm not touching that. You're sitting on the bench. Like, that is not something I roll with, but that's just me. Caleb, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, the thing with him is if you play defense, at least if you play defense, if he wasn't a turnover machine, he's one of the worst passers I've ever seen. It's astounding how bad of a passer he is. If he did one of those stuff, okay, he gets minutes. But the only benefit he has to our team is shooting. And if he doesn't shoot good, 0 for 8, no. That's not, he can't get minutes. Playoff, I'm gonna crash out if I see him in the playoffs with minutes. Like, he's gonna derail our team from the championship. I'm telling you, if we lose, it's gonna be him. If he gets more than 20 minutes, we're cooked. We're losing that game.
I think that's
no
what
question.
It comes down to, right? Is if Buddy Hield is not feeling it early in a game, put him on the bench and just move on. Like that is what was cringe about tonight, dude. Is that Buddy Hield clearly was not feeling it. Yet Steve Kerr still thought it was wise to roll him out for over 7 minutes of action in the second half. He was awful. Okay, move on from him. Steve Kerr just needs to train himself, and I don't know if Terry Stotts needs to be another voice in his ear to remind him, hey, buddy missed the first 5 threes. Coach, maybe we should move on. Like, that needs to happen. Buddy Hield should not be playing 20 minutes and posting those kinds of numbers. If he's not hitting his shots early, if he's passing up open layups, like Gamer FTP said earlier, put his ass on the bench and move on. Because I'm with you, dude. If Steve Kerr rolls with him in the postseason for extensive minutes and he's playing like this, you're screwed. You're screwed. You beat Brooklyn playing like this. Great. You're not beating Denver or the Lakers, or I don't even know if you're beating Houston if you're giving Buddy Hield significant minutes and he's shooting like this. We shall see. It is fascinating and interesting, no doubt.
Yeah, lastly, I want to give my flowers to, Stephen Curry, 40 bomb, as always. He's been amazing. And in the Jimmy Butler era, it's been amazing how like efficient he's been and how his impact just on the court. I know he had a plus minus of -16, and I know some of that's to the first quarter, but he's been amazing and partially to Jimmy Butler, and it's just his team's looking good, and I'm excited for the playoffs. That's what I want to see, and I want to see how we match up with Houston. I feel like we match up good. Memphis, I feel like we match up good with them. Denver, I saw what LA did to them defensively, and I think we could do the same thing defensively. We got some like if we roll out with that large lineup you were talking about, with Gooey, Jimmy at the point, Moses and stuff, we could stop Denver and OKC. We won 3 out of 2 games. I don't know. Do we have a winning record against OKC? Right?
Yeah, the Warriors play OKC one more time. And April is going to be a crazy month. Or maybe they don't play one more time. The Warriors and OKC have played each other 3 times, and the Warriors have beaten them twice. They don't play again, so the Warriors won the season series.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we match up good with them. I don't think our only bad matchup in the West is the Lakers. So I like our chances. I do
too, man. I do too. I'm ecstatic about this. The great Rich Mitchin dropped another $1.99, Caleb, saying trade Mediocre ASAP if you want a chip, and this time adding to it. See now he's swinging below the belt, adding little boy fans. Oof.
He's trolling, right? He has to be trolling.
But he's dropping ducats doing it. That's the crazy part. Oh my God. He's dropping ducats. I love it. And look, this individual has multiple accounts now using his other account, the great Rich Mitchin, saying, and this is the concern that some people have. And I get the concern, even though I'm not worried at all personally, which is that Kuminga is going to command a bigger contract this offseason. The Warriors salary situation can handle it. They're going to be fine. Yes, Kuminga is going to probably get a contract where he's making $30 or more million a year starting next season. So what? It's not going to hinder them is what I'm trying to say. But we can talk about that in the offseason when that's a relevant discussion. Caleb, anything else you want to add before we go? And Armando finally is going to join us on the show live. He'll be our final audience member to join the program tonight. Any final thoughts from you, Caleb?
Just that Detroit game. That's going to be an important game. And I was looking at Minnesota's roster. If we lose that game, I believe we're going to lose the 6th seed for a little bit. So that Detroit game, if we get Kuminga too, that would be important. So, yeah, I'm excited for that. And thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, brother. And remember, the Warriors beat Detroit earlier in this season. I know they're playing way better than they were when they met in Detroit.
Yeah.
But this is where the comfort of home is huge, because every time the Warriors play road games, you see a lot of randos hitting threes like they're going out of style. Like tonight was no exception. When you look at the box score for Brooklyn, Keon Johnson was 2 of 3 from deep. Cam Johnson's a good 3-point shooter in general. And Cam Johnson tonight, a player that has been linked to the Warriors in the past, at 26 points, 6 rebounds, 3 of 7 shooting from beyond the arc. And he has a quick release, man. I would not mind him in a Warriors uniform. I'm just not giving enough Kuminga for him. But anyways, going down, like Cam Thomas, 2 of 6 from 3. Tyrese Martin, 3 of 6 from 3. Jalen Wilson, 1 of 2 from 3. Zaire Williams, who was a punk tonight, 2 of 5 from 3. There's one other player that was a Watford. He only had 1 3-point attempt and he made it. My point is, Brooklyn tonight was 15 of 33 from beyond the arc. That's 45.5% of 3-pointers made by the 3rd worst 3-point shooting team in the NBA.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Teams do that at home. Teams don't do that on the road. That is the profound difference between what role players do for you at home and on the road. What I'm trying to say here is when Detroit comes into town on Saturday, Cade Cunningham's going to have a monster game if Detroit's going to win, because you're not going to get role players hitting these fluky ass 3-pointers. Like you're not going to get a Quentin Grimes night at Chase Center. That stuff happens at their home arena. I'm not overly worried about the Pistons, man. I think the Warriors will take care of business, but that's just me, brother. What you got any plans up for the weekend?
Not really, just studying for school and shit. And yeah, thank you though.
You will thank yourself later. I know school sucks probably right now, but it's one of those things where later on, most people don't have regrets. So I hope that's how you feel, Caleb. I'm glad you're in school, brother. Thank you. Have a great night. Come back at me with a good handle or a good name so I can associate you with Gooey You are the man who came up with that nickname. Armando Laura, the professor. How are you doing? Finally on the show. Your reaction, sir. Great to meet you, even though it's virtual. Still great to meet you, sort of in person. How are you, brother?
Yep. What's up, Cy? I'm out here in Whole Foods on Ocean Avenue in the city by City College. Just randomly caught you on my way home, so I hope the reception's okay.
So you do like a reverse commute, like you go to Berkeley over the Bay Bridge.
Yeah,
while everyone else is going the other direction. Okay,
pretty much. I was listening to I just want real quick. Well, I know you got to go. I was listening to the Kuminga Butler discussion about 3-point shooting, and I agree. I totally agree with you. Like, it shouldn't matter, right? Like that if they know how to play together, IQ, they can make it work together. The issue that I'm looking at.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The issue that I'm looking at is Steve Kerr going to think that? That's what I'm looking at. Because
Good news, Armando. Sorry to cut you off real fast. Sorry to interrupt real fast. He already has been asked that question, and he answered it, and he said yes. Monty Poole followed up and asked, "Are you going to be worried about spacing with having Jimmy Butler, Draymond, and Kuminga on the floor together?" His answer: "We'll see." So he's going to do it, and let's just hope it works out. But I'm not worried at all, dude.
Yeah, the person I want to see more with those guys is Moses Moody playing the 2, because that spread, that wing, that length is going to magnify those guys. The guy I don't want to see in there with those 2 is Brandon Podziemski. I don't know if people are not noticing, but teams are leaving him wide open at the 3, and he's bricking those MFers. Now I know he can be a shooter. I know they want him to be a shooter. It's not just Buddy Hield that's clanking him. So I'm really going to be looking when Kuminga comes back, who's playing that shooting guard, who's playing next to Steph, next to those guys, because that's the position where they're going to need to get shooting.
Well, Danny Emmerman was on the show this morning and said that the starting lineup's not going to change when Kuminga comes back. And
I mean, like the closing. Yeah,
exactly. The closing minutes are what's more important. Side note, Moses Moody, when the Warriors start him, they're now 14-1. That's insane. You can't mess with that.
So my question to you is, all this winning that's been going on, the easy schedule, Jimmy Butler, but how much of it is it also due to Moses Moody getting minutes, Draymond Green playing the 5, like things that some of us have been talking about for years, right? Like it is all those things, but that's going on too, man. Those guys are getting run. They should have been getting run for a while.
Agreed. Armando, I know you're a busy guy because you're a full-time professor, but I'm just waiting for you to write a column with that has like a very specific focus, like a theme, like an angle, and then that has a strong opinion, and then come on to the show as a guest, and we'll just have to do a whole show about your story. That might be it, dude. Moses Moody. Was he misused earlier this season, and is he being used properly now? Whatever the article is. I know you're posting like podcasts with your cousin. Is it your cousin?
Yeah. My cousin.
And that's great. But like written content will get you far, I think. And I understand it's time consuming. I don't write largely for the same reason. It's work. It is work. And it takes a lot of time. If it didn't, I'd have a Substack myself by now. But if you write a column, man, I will have you on the show, and let's do a whole 30 minutes to an hour,
Cool. So I appreciate you.
That sounds good to you. I don't know. I
sounds good, man. Okay. Hell yeah.
Yeah, let's do that, dude. And for the audience, in case you're unfamiliar, Armando is a very sharp individual. Again, a professor at Berkeley. So I think you're going to be good at covering the Warriors and writing about them. Yeah, let's set up a show, dude. Let's do that for sure, man. I'm glad you came on tonight, though, brother. That was huge.
A lot of fun. I always appreciate you, son. Take care.
Always appreciate you, Armando. Take care, man. And yeah, that's a good dude right there, and a very intellectual individual who, the moment he writes a good content, we're going to come on the show and promote it and talk about it. Anyways, Abraham De Leon, back on the winning track here. Maybe you've been right the whole time. Who knows? Saying, at least with Lindy Waters, is Dennis Schroeder also on the Pistons? D'Anthony Melton's out for the year. So even if he is technically on the Pistons, I don't know if we'll see him. We might. But I did see Lindy Waters recently on the Pistons bench. I didn't know Dennis Schroeder was there. So if you're correct on that, or if that's what you're saying, We might see Dennis Schroeder as well, but I liked Lindy Waters, at least as a person. I know he was inconsistent as an outside shooter, and that was his primary role, but I did think he was doing better than Buddy Hield. That's just my opinion on that. And we'll have some familiar faces coming into town for the Warriors and the Pistons on Saturday. Let's see what's going on elsewhere in the NBA. Oh, Greg Gordon, great point as well, saying the Warriors played 11 people tonight. Yeah, they are a deep-ass team, and that's without Kuminga. I also thought, in terms of the players that did not play tonight, Kevin Knox, a little surprised there. I thought they could have used him. I thought he would have been valuable as a 6'8" wing against this Brooklyn team that was causing havoc early on. But he got a DNP. Trace Jackson Davis continues to get DNPs. He's completely out of the rotation. And I don't have much of an opinion on that right now. Pat Spencer playing his first or I think second game since he got the guaranteed deal. We saw him for a little bit tonight. Only played 5 minutes, 55 seconds. It just wasn't working. He was getting minutes early to make up for Brandon Podziemski's loss. Again, Podziemski left this game 44 seconds in with what the team is describing as lower back soreness. It looked like the way he was done. He literally just grabbed his back in the middle of action, no contact, and was like, I'm out. And he just walked away. That tells me he felt the twinge of a lower back being thrown out. And that's what happened there. So Pat Spencer got some minutes, and thankfully Steve Kerr became aware early on that Pat Spencer should not be getting a lot of minutes. And Brandon Podziemski, I really hope this clip does not become associated with you, sir.
Oh, my neck! My back! My neck and my back! Oh!
All right. Look, the great Rich Mitchin, man. You are just intent on you just don't like Jonathan Kuminga. You just don't like him. It's so funny. But if you don't pay for the chats, I'm not going to highlight them. So keep throwing those $1.99s and you'll get your point made. Otherwise, and please don't spam either. We read you the first time. All right, let's go to the scoreboard. Let's see how the Warriors result tonight fared with everyone else. I can't wait to get to the standings as well, but we got to get some music first. Oh, Julian Bashir saying you got a super chat that I missed. I sincerely apologize for that. Julian Bashir dropping $2 to write. I only have 50 characters to write a comment. Is that true? Is that all you have in the chat? Well, you wrote something after that, which I want to touch on after we do the standings. And that's Daredevil. I have not watched Reacher, but I've had enough people praising it where it's going to be on my to-do list. Side note, I'm a homebody who loves movies and TV shows. So if that's a topic you want to talk about, it's right down my alley. Is that why you dropped $2, Julian, was to talk about Daredevil? We will. I watched the first episode of the new incarnation of Daredevil, and it was superb. I haven't seen the second one yet. I know that's out. All right. Vladimir Sempio asking, why isn't Trace Jackson Davis playing? He's just out of the rotation. It's just a Steve Kerr not feeling it kind of thing. And I don't know if that's the right decision. We shall see. All right, let's go to the scoreboard as we wrap up a Thursday night. Tonight, 17 p.m. Where are the tunes? Let's get some music here. Elsewhere in the association for this Thursday, March 6th, somewhat light docket, the Houston Rockets, a team that is now very much on the Warriors' radar. They had an easy game tonight, taking on the New Orleans Pelicans, and they took care of business. The final score in that one, 109-97. Alperen Şengün, 22 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists in the win. The New Orleans Pelicans, Troy Murphy III had 26 points. There's a Trey Murphy, I apologize. Houston improves to 38-25, maintaining a 3-game lead over the Golden State Warriors for that coveted 5 seed. The Pelicans dropped to 17-46. Excuse me. Simon, too. saying that Trace Jackson Davis is the new JaVale McGee. All right, great Rich Mitchin. I gotta put you in timeout, man. Now you're dropping like homophobic slurs. And why do you hate Kuminga so much, man? Come on now. Are you a Warriors fan? A little too much there. A little too much. Here's the one last thing I want to bring up about Jonathan Kuminga really fast, because I see John Brown in the chat saying that that if Kuminga has improved significantly on his free throws, that the Warriors win more games. I'm guessing you add the word more. Here's the biggest reason why I don't care that much about Kuminga's free throws, and the fact that he's typically like a 70% shooter. I think that's where he's going to end up. He was 75 last year. This year he's closer to 70. I think career-wise he's around 73. I don't have those numbers in front of me right now. If he wasn't leading the team in free throw attempts, if he wasn't the only guy on this team getting to the free throw line to begin with, that would be a much bigger point of emphasis. But at least until Jimmy Butler got here, Kuminga was the only one doing that. And I would rather take a player 10 times out of 10 going to a free throw line and making 1 out of 2 free throws than a player missing a field goal attempt. For the simple reason, besides the fact that you're getting at least a point out of it, well, you know what? I'd rather Kuminga go 0 for 2 from the defense so much when you shoot free throws. You're preventing the other team from pushing the ball. You're preventing the other team from getting an advantage. So when you're comparing 2 missed free throws to a missed field goal, you miss the free throws, you're still giving your defense a shot. You miss the field goal, and the other team is down scoring before you've even turned your head around on a swivel. It is a massive bonus to get to the free throw line and to have that skill. So if Kuminga's a 70% free throw shooter on a team where he's one of only 2 guys consistently getting to the line, still a massive positive, as opposed to him being a player who does not get free throws to begin with. If he wasn't getting attempts, and then on the off chance when he did get attempts, he was still missing them, that's a problem. But the fact that he leads the team in free throw attempts tells me he's the only guy on the team helping the defense out in that department. And it's why it's not a big concern for me. Greg Gordon, I agree that Kuminga needs Rick Barry. But I also will add, it's not that big of a deal to me. Armando Laura, we just saw a moment ago, saying Kuminga just needs minutes. All right, agreed. When he actually plays, great things happen consistently. Well, people are saying the music's loud. I apologize. All right, let me switch that up. Living room TV, another $1.99. You're wild, dude. Trade mediocre and make the team better for a gold. To which I reply, you can't trade him. Trade deadline passed. Let's talk about it in the off season if you still feel that way. Something tells me you won't. Xavier Hill strongly agree to disagree with what you wrote, which is that great things happen for JK, but it doesn't help winning when he plays a lot. Wrong. huge, massive swing and a miss on that one, dude. No, when he's actually playing and contributing, it is resulting in success for the team. He's not putting up empty stats. I get the gist that you're trying to make, but Living room TV saying Kuminga got minutes last year. I don't remember that. In fact, I do remember in that Kings game, Kuminga rotting on the bench while Klay Thompson got 32 minutes and went 0 for 10. I remember that. Kuminga barely played in that playing game. What the hell are you talking about, man? I know Simon too asking, how many handles does this guy have? All right, let's go back to the scoreboard. It's late. We're past 2 hours. Jesus Christ, I had no idea where we were in the grand scheme of things. All right, let's finish this up here. The Boston Celtics taking care of business today at home, defeating the Philadelphia 76ers, 123-105 the final. Jason Tatum, 35 points, 7 rebounds, 3 steals in the win for the reigning defending champions. Kelly Oubre Jr., former Golden State Warrior, 27 points, 6 assists, 3 steals in the loss. Boston improves to 45-18. Philly improves to 21-41. The Atlanta Hawks, they were winners at home today, defeating the Indiana Pacers, 124-118. Atlanta improves to 29-34. Indiana dropping to 35-26. Pascal Siakam in the loss, 35 points, 9 rebounds. Trae Young in the win, 22 points and 16 assists for the assist leader in the NBA. 2 more games. The Chicago Bulls and their delicious Saatsaz. They defeated the Orlando Magic tonight, 125-123. Cody White, 44 points in the win. Contavious Caldwell-Pope, 19 points in the loss for Orlando, who drops to 29-35. Chicago improves to 25-38. And last but not least, and I don't think we're going to get to the final score before the show ends, but on TNT right now, and I don't care if you leave at this point, we're well over 2 hours into the show. Side note, by the way, one thing I am very proud of with this program, if you don't mind me boasting for just 1 second, we've always been, even when I was over at Locked On, I'm very proud of this, man. And this is because of you, the audience. We led the entire network in time spent listening, meaning the amount of time that an audience member on average spends on this show blows everyone else away. Our average time spent listening on this program, because when I was over at Locked On, they restricted the data I could check out, but here I can see everything. We're averaging over 20 minutes per show in terms of the amount of time that someone will spend watching this. That is a really high number. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Like that tells me that people are sticking around. They actually like the content. So I can't thank you enough for that. And I bring that up because I'm looking at the clock and we've been on for 2 hours and 12 minutes. And at the same time, despite how long we've gone, I don't know if we're going to get an answer in terms of who's going to win between the Lakers and the Knicks tonight. That game right now is tied at 96. And I don't know why I don't have it on my own television. I'm going to set that up real fast so I can at least have it in the distance and see what's going on here. But it is a 96-96 game with a minute and change remaining. Frenetic pace. The Knicks just took the lead. Go Knicks! So anyways, let's go to the standings. And if there is a final before we're done, I will reveal that. All right, let's take a look at the standings now. On Thursday, March 6th. We're going to stick to the Western Conference here. I'll share my screen. All right, here we go. So OKC incredibly has 51 wins on the season in just 62 games played. The LA Lakers are 11 games behind them. So are the Denver Nuggets. Those two teams currently battling for the 2 seed. The Memphis Grizzlies are currently the 4 seed with a 38-24 record, 13 games back of OKC. The Houston Rockets, winners tonight, they're the 5th seed. They're a half game behind Memphis. And then the Warriors are currently your 6th seed 3 games back of Houston. They own the tiebreak over the Houston Rockets. They currently own the tiebreak over the Memphis Grizzlies as well. The Warriors in Memphis will play one more time on April Fool's Day, April 1st. That's a Tuesday at 5 p.m. in Memphis. If the Warriors win that game, they will lock the head-to-head battle. They'll own the tiebreaker. So that will be a game of significance. But for now, the Warriors, again, trail the Houston Rockets by 3 games. Houston 38-25, the Warriors 35-28. The Warriors have a half-game lead on the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are 35-29. Warriors own the tiebreak over Minnesota, and I believe that is locked in. No, they don't play again. So the Warriors will own the tiebreaker over Minnesota. The LA Clippers are currently the 8th seed at 33-29. They're a game and a half behind the Golden State Warriors. They own the tiebreak over the Warriors, regardless of what happens in their final meeting, because LA won the first 3 games against them. Sacramento is currently your 9 seed at 32-29. They're 2 games back of the Warriors, and the Warriors play the Kings next week, March 13th. It's a Thursday. If the Warriors win that game, if my math is correct, that means the teams will split the season series, and then you're going to start looking at conference record. You're going to start looking at all the different tiebreakers from there. John Brown in the chat saying, give it up for GP2 tonight. Yeah, I give him plenty of credit early on. He has just flipped his game around altogether in the last month and change. Went from being like a legitimate liability out there for a long time with the atrocious 3-point shooting, the defensive eliteness fading. But he's improved his game a lot, and he's making some huge plays out there now. All right, well, I really want to finish this show before this Lakers and Knicks game, and the clock is ticking on this. The score is currently 99-99. Lakers just missed the shot. Is this what Chardall does and all these other people? And I guess I'm breaking the rules if I start doing like a play-by-play commentary. So the Knicks, Jalen Brunson just made a bucket. He's taunting the crowd. This game's being played in LA, but it looks like Spike Lee is courtside. I could be mistaken on that. It looked like him though. And Jalen Brunson. And this is where the Lakers not trading for Mark Williams, rescinding that trade, could come to bite them in the ass, because Jalen Brunson did not have anybody impeding what ended up being an easy layup +1 to give the Knicks now a 3-point lead. With 20 seconds to play, the Lakers do not call a timeout. I don't know if that's because they don't have them or if they're following the Phil Jackson philosophy of playing on. And they're down 3. They kick it out. 3-point attempt. Missed. Knicks have the ball. And the Knicks are going to win. So what that means is, it's tough. I'm glad we stuck around for that. So what that means is, so the Knicks are going to come away victorious, I believe. With I believe 9 seconds remaining. I can't see the intricate details from where I'm sitting here. I apologize for that. But it appears the Lakers are going to lose to the same Knicks team that the Warriors just beat a few nights ago, 2 nights ago. That's right, LeBron James. You lost, bitch! All right. Sorry. Okay, and so that means in terms of the standings, the Lakers are going to fall to the 3rd seed, a half game behind the Nuggets for the 2nd seed, and they're still going to be a game and a half ahead of Memphis for the 4 seed. The Warriors are currently 5.5 games behind the Nuggets. And they're gonna be 5 games behind the Lakers. The Lakers, unfortunately, are gonna win the tiebreak this season, but why not strive for a higher seed? The Warriors are currently 6. 5 is very much in play. 4 is very much in play. A 2 and 3 might be daunting given there's only 19 games remaining in the season. All right, and that's it. Great game tonight. Did I miss any other pay chats? Oh, one last thing. Besides Living Room TV, did you drop another $1.99? Saying mediocre. Let me ask you this, Living Room TV, just for the sake of argument. In the month of December, Kuminga finally averaged over 30 minutes. There is no other player who has ever reached success in the NBA, as a lottery pick especially, who did not get 30-plus minutes to develop experience, to develop their game. Kuminga finally got 30-plus minutes in the month of December. Finally, you got a decent sample size to see what this kid can do when he actually plays. He averaged 21 points per game, 6.3 rebounds per game, 35% shooting from 3. That is good. It's not great, but it's good. Free throw shooting was around 70%. Again, he's getting to the line. That alone is a positive. 70% is not awful. It's not great, but it's not awful either. So what makes him mediocre to you? That's the part I don't get. Are you just freaked out about the amount of money? Are you freaked out about his work ethic? Because his work ethic is exceptional. Dude is routinely one of the first people at the gym. He's also got his head on straight. He's not some punk who cares about partying and has his priorities screwed up. Guy's a family man. He's a good dude. So what is it about him that is mediocre? Are you going to bust out some random advanced metric that suits your narrative? Like I saw some people pointing out a month or so ago, like, well, when Kuminga comes into the game, advanced net rating stats show that Stephen Curry, his production dips slightly. And I couldn't believe I was having this argument. The person was basing this on net rating stats, which take into account 5 players on a team, right? So when you bring up a stat like that, like, well, when Kuminga comes into a game, Steph's numbers drop, but that metric is not taking into account who the other 3 players are on the court as well. My point is, why is he mediocre to some of you? I don't get that. It's mind-boggling to me. Wait, what? Lakers and Knicks are going to OT? Mother effer, what happened? I hate the Lakers, man. I hate the Los Angeles Lakers. I do. What kind of bullshit was that where a game that was over is now going to overtime? What did I miss there? Did they take the Jalen Brunson's +1 away? I thought it scores 1, or did the Knicks tie it to send it to overtime? Oh, there's a challenge? Oh, okay. So Jalen Brunson's +1 tied the game. And I mistakenly thought his +1 gave the Knicks a 3-point lead. Damn it. Okay. All right. So, well, it's not a huge impact on the Warriors, who came away victorious tonight. And now we can all go watch the game. Thank you, everyone, for the last time tonight. Good day for Warriors basketball. Danny Emmerman on this morning's show again. Fantastic. Strongly recommend checking that out. Great insights from him. He will be back on this show. Some guests, you just you get that click immediately. The chemistry's there, and Danny's a good kid. I'm looking forward to having him back. Kev F. Simon 2 is asking, did I always hate the Lakers, or is it a LeBron thing? No. Dude, I feel like if you're a born and raised Northern California sports fan, the LA teams are just garbage They're piles of doo-doo with little corn pieces inside of it and flies sitting on top. That's LA, man, when it comes to their teams. Back when I was a baseball fan, the Dodgers were persona non grata. The Lakers, go F yourself. Now, with that said, the Warriors were so bad for so long that if you were a Warriors fan, you sometimes had to pick secondary players and or teams to root for just because just so you can maintain interest in the NBA. Because again, the Warriors for 30 years, with minor exceptions here and there, for 3 decades were awful. They were the Wizards awful. And I'm not hyperbolic saying that. What the Wizards are now, the Warriors were. True story. And so you have to have other players and teams to kind of, find interest in. I really love Kobe Bryant. He did succeed Michael Jordan as close as he possibly could. And I grew up a massive Michael Jordan fan just because he epitomized greatness in the same way Stephen Curry does. So I didn't hate the Lakers when they had Kobe. Didn't like him. I didn't root for him, but watching Kobe play, it was entertaining at least. But otherwise, no. F the Lakers, man. F the LA teams in general. Screw them. Armando Lara, it sounds like you're a fellow Bay Area saying that the best part of the Warriors was always the draft. And then until they actually made the pick. And then you saw the pick and you immediately thought to yourself, another shitty year, right? Look at this real fast. I'm gonna pull up just in the 90s who the Warriors drafted. If I'm gonna go over 2 hours, might as well just keep going until I'm running on fumes here. So just to give you an idea of how torturous this business was for the Golden State Warriors, if you were a fan of theirs, at least in the 90s and the 2000s as well. So here's who the Golden State Warriors drafted starting in 1990. I'll just limit it to first round picks, all right? Tyrone Hill was the 11th pick in 1990, and he was actually a good player. Fantastic rebounder. Not much of an offensive game, so defensively. Undersized, big, great rebounder. So that wasn't awful, but at the same time, he wasn't exactly a star either. In 1991, with the 16th pick, the Warriors drafted Chris Gatling. In 1992, with the 24th pick, they drafted Latrell Sprewell. That one really worked out until he choked out the coach. But there was a good run there for a little bit with Latrell. In 93, they drafted Penny Hardaway and traded him for Chris Webber. Amazing! Until you lost Chris Webber just a year later. God damn. In 94, they drafted Clifford Rozier. In 1995, with the number 1 pick, they went with Joe Smith out of the University of Maryland. A pick I liked at the time. And the moment you started to watch him play, you immediately realized this guy has no dog in him. Like, none. I think Joe had a decent career, but for a number 1 pick, that was a massive just bust. 1996, with the 11th pick, the Warriors drafted Todd Fuller. 2 picks later, Kobe Bryant was picked. 1997, with the 8th pick in the draft, the Warriors select Adonal Foyle. In 1998, the Warriors drafted, with the 5th pick, Vince Carter. What? Oh, they traded him for Antoine Jameson. God damn it. In 1999, with the 21st pick, they drafted out of Texas State University. Where's that based in? That's like near San Antonio, right? The Warriors drafted Jeff Foster. I don't even know who that is. I don't remember any Jeff Foster minutes, which I think is all we need to know. Does anyone in the chat remember Jeff Foster? I don't. Yes, no one's even answering that. So that was 99. The Warriors didn't even have a first-round pick in 2000. I don't know why. In 2001, they had 2 first-round picks. With the 5th pick, they drafted Jason Richardson. That was a good pick. Not a great pick, but he at least provided some fond memories. He was part of the We Believe squads, right? I believe, yeah. With the 14th pick, they selected Troy Murphy. With the 30th pick in the draft, they got Gilbert Arenas, which was awesome, except for the fact that he was technically a second-round pick. And the way the CBA worked back then, teams could not offer second-round picks. There was some weird rule where the Warriors could not give Gilbert Arenas the same amount of money that who was it? Washington ultimately outbid the Warriors. It was one of the most screwiest things ever. Only the Warriors could be victims of this ridiculous rule that applied to, again, the amount of money you could give to second-round draft picks. So they changed that rule because of this. But Gilbert Arenas left after like a very short time. In 2002, with the 3rd pick in the draft, they went with Mike Dunleavy Jr. God damn, dude, that was... And if you're skeptical of Mike Dunleavy Jr., the GM, because of his time playing for the Warriors, I feel you. All right? I feel you. I get you. It sucked. In 2003, with the 11th pick, the Warriors drafted Mikael Pietrus. In 2004, with the 11th pick, they drafted Andris Biedrich. He was good for a moment. They had some little brief glimpses of success, but again, nothing to write home about. In 2005, with the 9th pick, the Warriors drafted Ike Diagu. In 2006, oh, this one stinks. In 2006, with the 9th pick, the Warriors drafted Patrick O'Brien. Patty O'Brien, fine Irish lad. In 2007, with the 18th pick, the Warriors drafted Marco Bellinelli. Nice guy. In 2008, and this is going to be the last bad one, the Warriors drafted Anthony Randolph out of LSU. And then 2009, Maroon. That's where we're going to stop. With the 7th pick, the Warriors drafted Stephen Curry, and the rest is history. Is this game over? Jesus Christ, it's not. I lost. I really wanted to keep going until this Lakers-Knicks game was done. There's 1:24 left on the clock. Someone's on the ground hurt. Is that Jalen Brunson? I think he's just milking the clock. He's fine. Okay. So the Lakers lead by 2, 107-105 in overtime. We will not finish by the time the game ends. Thank you to everyone again. Thanks for that trip down memory lane of all those awful draft picks. That was like 16 years straight where you had like a couple winners, but you lost them really fast, like Chris Webber. Oh, and then it all changed with Stephen Curry, the man, the myth, the legend. At the latest, this program will be back Saturday with a post-game show immediately after the Warriors taking on the Pistons. But folks, this was a good one tonight. I don't care if it was Brooklyn. Those sons of bitches were tryhards. They were playing physical. They're breaking rules. They wanted to win that game. They led by 22 points in this game. Remember when the Warriors were the ones blowing all those huge leads? Now they're coming back, baby. You gotta like it. You gotta love it. 121-119. The Warriors are now 35-28. We'll see Saturday night at the latest. You never know if I'm going to come on sooner. Or some guest randomly makes themselves available on a Friday. Thank you, everyone, sincerely. And we'll be back soon. Go Dubs. Bye-bye.